And welcome, everybody, back to another session of Deadlands. I'm the game master of this game, Max, and I got some players with me. They're part of the posse. Let's go ahead and go around and introduce each one of them real quick. In one corner, we've got a Pinkerton from back out east. His name is Dr. Webb. He is being played by Soy Mage. Say hello to the people.
Hello, people.
That's good. All right. Alongside with him, he has a partner that is not a character, Dr. Walters. We'll get to meet Dr. Walters later. If you've seen the first episode, then you'll definitely get an idea who that is. Let's slide on over and meet our less savory individual of the group. He is a cowpoke from down south. He's had a number of run-ins with good and bad sides of the law. He is being played by Rusty, and his character's name is Oleander.
Yes, Oleander, who goes by Ollie, has had a run of bad luck for just the last few decades that have led to him occasionally having some unfortunate disagreements with authority figures and other violent folk around. But Ollie has had a pretty string of good luck. He tends to get out of the situations surprisingly unscathed.
Which is awesome, because now Ollie has got himself a free ride to Dodge City, where he gets a chance to dispense with some good-hearted returns. Yeah. Maybe that'll come back around to help him out later.
Ollie is a man on a mission that has not come up yet at all, because nobody's asked him and he's not volunteering it.
Sounds good. We have other people here who are on missions as well. In fact, I don't think there's a single person of this posse who doesn't have some sort of goal in mind. Let's talk about the more holier of thou, who have been sent out west to help God and those good individuals of the church fight the devil. Father Cross, played by James.
How's it going? And Father Cross will be indoctrinating Ollie without him realizing it.
I like that. There's nothing wrong with becoming a good Christian.
Ollie was raised in a Catholic orphanage. He realizes it.
Nice.
Father Cross has a ruler somewhere.
Well, the posse isn't finished yet because there's a total of 4 individuals by the end of this train ride who will be hanging out and eating beans around a campfire together. And the last is our female compatriot, played by Sarah. And McDade is from Ohio, and she has traveled a great distance down the Mississippi on a rather interesting spiritual guided quest. I guess I don't know how she takes it, but I definitely foresee that it's like a spiritual guide. She's on like the warpath, maybe. Ooh. She has found her way onto this train. Sarah?
That's correct. God just tells me where to go and I follow.
Excellent. So we have this posse here, and we're about to get started on our little show. Couple of things before we get started. I must apologize ahead of time. If you see some sort of black flickering taking place, we are still trying to figure out exactly how that's happening and why it's happening. So apologies ahead of time. It's just something we're trying to deal with. The next thing is we want to talk about what happened last session and what changes have been made to the character. So I'm going to nominate one of the posse, and they're going to be suckered into just talking their heads off. So I'm going to pick, for this game session, Sarah. Talk about what happened last session.
So last session we got to... I'm not Anna right now. Okay. I had to drop the dialect there. We all boarded the train. We all kind of made our way to the station itself, and got on board. Kind of started meeting some characters that were pretty interesting. Ended up taking off from the station and having to somehow pull Ollie on board here, like get it to slow down so that he could get on. Right.
He was last aboard. He didn't exactly have to like climb on after it was moving or anything, but he was definitely a little tardy.
And then, yeah, we all met, got to know each other a little bit, started playing poker. There was a nice poker game going on, and Rusty and I started playing violin and singing and putting on a show, and it was a really lovely event until we started hearing gunfire from outside the train, and looked out and saw some engines heading our way.
Excellent recap. I like it a lot. Go ahead. When we draw our bounty chips here, you'll be able to pull an extra one for yourself.
Hooray!
That pretty much squeezes up last episode, and if you want to watch it for yourself, you can definitely check that out here on the OBS channel. We're going to start off. It's very important that we get everybody to draw 3 new chips, save for Sarah. She gets to draw 4 because she did recap. Next week, of course, next show, somebody else will be doing the recap. All right. Every game session, and they use the rules lightly. They're like, oh, hey, maybe it should be every other episode or something, but we're going to do every episode. The players get to draw 3 extra fate chips to add to their current pool. They can use these fate chips in-game. They can also use these fate chips out of game. In-game, it modifies dice rolls. Out of game, it can give them some experience points. They can carry over from the last session to the new session, but as our great rules lawyer will say, we can only have 10. Is that correct, James?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. All right. Also, speaking of the rules, if we hit a speed bump, I'm going to go for the rule set that kind of works more for the story, and James will correct me later. So if you guys witness me doing some sort of terrible act and destroying the rules, it's just going to have to be, because we're about the story and the fun. So, I'm going to go around the table real quick, and we gave some bounty and had some chips, so we're going to ask some people how they spent theirs to help improve their character so that the audience can see a little bit of progress stat-wise. Start off with Father Cross.
I am actually holding on to mine to pick up some new miracles and gifts later on down the road.
Interesting. All right. Next in line will be Oleander.
Well, I just spent mine kind of rounding out some of Ollie's starting stuff that a skill of 1 feels like a placeholder to me. So I wanted to bump them up to a 2 to actually show that he kind of knows what he's doing with it. So I spent mine bumping up my fighting/brawling, which is used for punching people and also whacking them with a gun in your hands. So that seemed handy. And then I fixed my trade gunsmithing skill. I bumped that up to a 2 also, just making both of them a little bit more consistent. He's
Excellent.
not a master pugilist or anything, but it's enough to, not be completely at the whims of a single die.
Excellent. All right. So he's gotten a little bit better in the fighting. Let's go check out and see what the good doctor did with some of his points. Hopefully he didn't improve his fighting, because last I remember he was handing out cherries and trying to avoid loud noises and his partner.
Well, believe it or not, the good doctor did actually boost up his fighting just a little bit. Mainly from the aspect of, well, let's face it, this man is a doctor. It's a good possibility this man's seen some of the war in his time, and anyone who has dealt with it, good, bad, or indifferent, not everyone's going to be the most cooperative when you're going to have to start doing some work.
Excellent. All right. And last but not least would be Sarah. What did you improve upon your character?
I improved nothing. She's already great. I'm saving up for some big changes. So I'm holding on to those chips to maybe convert to bounty, or I've got some plans, just nothing on the execution side.
Excellent. All right. Looks like we've got our interface up and running like the way it's supposed to be. Everything looks like it's in order. I'm going to do a quick lockdown of all the extra fringe pieces so they don't go sliding around. There we go. Last left off, the train was having a bit of a party, a fiesta. The sounds of engines charging up the train, charging toward the train, hollering out, giving their like war cry. And as from the point of view of the passengers, several Indians on horseback, varieties of colors of horses, came charging quickly up alongside the train to the car that the group is in, the posse being the last car for people, where the fun was having, where the card game was taking place. One Indian by himself rode up alongside, headdress of straight feathers, has a Winchester in hand, and he takes a pot shot over the head of the train, firing off his rifle into the dark. It's really loud, definitely catches everybody's attention. For those who are in the last car, Whiskey, being the older gentleman, even if the player didn't make a good roll, will say, "Dog soldiers, what the hell are they doing out here?" You know? And everybody in the car are very aware that on the, I guess, the right-hand side, if you're facing the front of the train, the right-hand side, a bunch of Indians are in the background, as well as there was one alongside of this car. Now, I don't remember, but was Dr. Webb also in that back car with everyone else?
He had been, as he had been staying over there, partially to catch up with everyone, also for food and refreshments.
Okay, so you did go back to the back car. You didn't stay in the front car by yourself. You were back there with Walter, Dr. Walter, and the rest of them. Okay, so that's, you are very aware of what everybody else is seeing. I don't have to like hash out a different description. I had already said that Whiskey was pulling up his buffalo gun, and so we're going to do a quick round to find out how everybody else is going to react to this. So before we do that, we're going to be using some picture descriptions to help out people kind of symbolize. So we're going to slide from this cool wanted poster look, and we're going to move over to the gaming page look. Where's that button? I think this is it, but I think it's also messed up. Oh, it is. Look at that. That is awesome. Some sort of Inception. Never do understand.
Nesting screen.
Yes. It should be this one. Let's see if this will do it. We're going to hit OK. It'll be just a second. All right, let's go back. Huzzah! All right, hit OK. Does everybody's pictures appear? Yeah, cool. So we have a train. We can see some train tracks. We're going to use some imagery to kind of bring stuff up. The first thing is I want to share with everybody this cool picture of Whiskey. All right, where's he at? There we go. Of Whiskey. I found this one while doing some digging around. I was like, oh man, this is really awesome. Okay, and this gnarly old dude, I'm like, yeah, that works for me. All right. Let's go ahead and move him off to one side.
Just staring into his soulful, bloodshot, trapper frontiersman eyes.
Hell yes. Rusty knows what I'm talking about. All right, so we have a couple of imageries. If you saw some of our social media posts, you got a good picture of a dog soldier. I'm going to drag drop another one over here. Dog soldiers wore a collection of feathers on their head as symbolism of their association with that particular group. And here is another really good one. This is the one that we used in the social media. I don't believe is actually an indigenous individual. I believe that this is also, because I mean, his facial structure is definitely different than like what I think of an indigenous individual. So I was like, you know what? It's the right costuming. We're just going to go with it. All right. And this one, this guy is so majestic. I love it. This is actually part of some sort of decorative festival competition that he got dressed up for. I was trying to read through that the other day and it got me distracted. You know how you get into Google and you get distracted with stuff. Bam. All right. I got some reference materials to work with. All right. And pop back over here. We're going to go to, let's see. We're going to judge. We're going to go to the person who has the highest quickness. Ollie, what is Ollie's quickness?
Ollie's quickness is a 3d12.
Oh, man. Can anyone here beat that? No? All right, I think we're going to start with Ollie then.
Ollie's going to be just hollering, "Oh, hell, everybody get down!" And he's going to go scrambling kind of from wherever we were mingling and singing. He's going to go lunging towards his saddlebags, and his scabbarded Winchester rifle. Because he likes to start a fight with his own lever-action yellow boy in hand at anything besides super close range. He'd rather go for the grown-up gun than just trust in his wheel guns. So he's going to be trying to scramble and get to his rifle while yelling for everybody to kind of duck, take some cover, that sort of thing. So, yeah, keeping it pretty simple this round, just kind of moving and grabbing stuff.
All right. Anything other than moving and grabbing that you want to do, such as you said you were talking, so I think that pretty much covers your action. All right, let's slide on over to the next one in line via pictures, and that would be Dr. Webb.
Noticing the rapid grab for firearms, the sounds of everything outside, he is going to stand up and throw the coat back just a little bit and rest his hand on his pistol. Kind of with that look on his face of, "Please don't make me have to use this. Please don't make me have to use this. Please don't make me have to."
All right. Is Dr. Weber a military man?
Formerly.
Okay. So, do you, other than standing up and throwing your coat back and putting a hand on your hip, which is incredibly cinematic, does he do anything else?
At this time, he does not. So it's...
All right. And let's go ahead and move on to Miss Dade. McDade, sorry. McDade.
I go ahead and as soon as I hear the call, I kind of pause and calmly set down my violin in its case and close it. And then hike up my skirt and pull out 2 tomahawks, one which looks real cool.
All right. I believe at this point in time, no one's really too paying attention to what you're doing, so there won't be any catcalling from any of the lesser ne'er-do-wells.
I do, you know, I've seen it before where you kind of like grab the corners of the skirt and like tuck it into a belt.
Oh.
So you've got some like ankle showing, but like you've got the flexibility to move.
I have seen that. I know what you're talking about. And
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Keeping that in mind, we'll move on to Father Cross. All right, let me guess. You throw back your priestly duster and whip out, what, a scattergun or something?
Actually, when we had left off last week, I had moved in between the cars. I was actually on the steps in between the cars with a peacemaker pulled out.
Already out and about?
Yep.
We will, for the purpose of how everything was going, because I do believe that was at the end scene, we'll say that that's what you're doing right now, moving between the cars and pulling out a peacemaker. So my question to you is, and I have projected this, that this is the third car that houses people. Behind it, as far as the train goes, there's another car that has a small kitchen as well as a bathroom, or an area in which the pot to piss in is at. Or you can move in the direction toward what would be considered the business class, where there's more seats and small tables. Is that the 2 cars? Which cars are you going in between?
I was in between the passenger and the kitchen.
Okay.
Since the kitchen was behind it. And my intention is actually to move to the very rear of the train, since there is a balcony there and more room to play with.
Rear of the. How smart is your character? What's the smarts on this Father Cross?
Uh, 1d8.
Okay, so there's about 9 cars between you and the caboose. Is that what you're talking about?
Okay.
The caboose?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was misinterpreting where everything was.
So let me do some education. We're going to take the train we're taking it from a very historical point of view. There is an engine as well as a coal car, a water car, and then right behind that there's a series of either flatbeds. This is the typical train. There's a series of flatbeds or actual boxcars, and the boxcars are going to have some supplies in it. The first boxcar or flatbed is going to have some supplies that the engineer is going to use. And then there's probably about 7 to 10 cars after that of supplies. And it could be a variety of things. And then after that, there's going to be about 2 to about 5 passenger cars. And then after those, there's going to be at least upwards to a dozen more boxcars and flat cars than a caboose. And in some situations, there might even be 2 trains near the front. But, it just depends on the situation. This has got 1 engine. Sorry, trains. I said 2 trains in the front. 2 engines near the front. This has just got 1 engine. But now you got an idea. This is about... So the first train ran, I do believe, 20 years ago. So this is an evolution. And so this should be 22... Let's see, it's 7, 4, and the 9. That's 60. That's 20. Yeah, it's 22. From the engine to the caboose, 22 cars in total.
Okay.
At least my notes say so. So that's the math I'm gonna use. How close did I hit there, historian?
That sort of thing varied a lot based on railroad, based on company, and based very quickly. Railroads changed quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Even just standardized width of track wasn't a thing for a very long time. It's a mess. The railroad, any given railroad or any given train can be basically whatever the heck a GM says, and it's perfectly historically accurate.
So we are going to also say that I'm also going to point out that if you put in your head like, oh hey, there's only like these cars you're in actually have enough room to have like there's a center aisle and there's going to be generally like a pew to either side, and that pew is designed to hold 2 people plus a piece of luggage of some type. So you have room that sticks out over the tracks. So it's not like, oh hey, let's wander through. No. All right. So does that change your statement, Father Cross?
Actually, it gives me an idea on things. Can I see into the kitchen car?
No.
Okay.
There's no window into it. You have to go open the door, so you can't physically see into it.
Yeah. Then that's what I'll do, because I want to see if there's windows in there that I can.
So you're stepping out of this car into the next car, boxcar behind where the kitchen is at, the privy.
Yep.
That's also opens up into that cargo area, so you can walk through the crates and whatnot that are back there. So just letting you know, you have access to it. It's not behind like a locked door or anything.
Okay.
All right. Everybody begins gathering weapons, getting into different positions. The posse does. The passengers don't. The only other passenger who is actually doing anything would be Whiskey, who has pulled his buffalo rifle up and he's resting it in the window, not actually pointing it out the window at this point in time. The Indian who is riding alongside, like I said, he fired off his Winchester and he's yelling at this point in time. So from Rusty's point of view, from Oleander's point of view, his pack and everything was on the left-hand side. I'm going to let a cognition roll by the Dr. Webb and McDade, because they're at a point where they're both standing up and they can see out the windows, because your pack was on the floor on the other side. All you can see is stuff going on. For all those who are military history knowledge, do you have any tactical skills? If you want to use them, that could be beneficial at this point in time. But for the meantime, Doctor and McDade, give me a cognition roll. Excellent. We got a 5 and an 8. All right, and so, Doctor, you know that with the light on in the car, you're standing up, you're creating a silhouette in the window. So is everyone else who's standing up. And so you're producing a perfect image for anyone to shoot out of the car, from out of the car into it and hit you. With that, you're also, Anne and you both notice that the Indian that you can see does not account for the Indians that are toward the back end area of the train. There are also riders coming up along the backside of the train, and both of you can see that one of those dog soldiers leap from his horse, grab a hold of the ladder, maybe in the next car back. You're not sure what he grabs a hold, but you see him jump from your point of view onto the train. It might be a jump onto the ladder, maybe a piece of railing or something, but they're getting on the train now. All right, so we're going to go... we're not in combat, so we're going to go in an action round in reverse of what we just did. And I believe Father Cross was the last one, so he will be the first one.
All right. So I'm going into the kitchen car. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming there's, 2 or 3 staff in here?
No, the kitchen car, this car is staffed by the people. They bring in their stuff. There's pots and pans. Okay. They cook their food and stuff like that. And as you're entering, the conductor's exiting. He's just like, the engines! And he's trying to push his way past you.
All right. Spin around them and start stepping in there. And if there are windows, I will look out as I'm moving to get an idea of where the Indians are. And I will pause about mid-car just to get a look.
All right. The car itself it's got good siding, so you can't really see out of it. And the only windows are at the back, the front, and the back and the front of the actual sides, and the back of the front of the back and the front. So only at the ends of the car will you have viewpoint. You get about midway, make your cognition check. Well, actually, you're searching at this point in time, so you can search roll. Target number will be a I don't know. Let me check out what the target number is. Oh yeah, that's right. Let's do that. Where is that at? Sneak. There it is. 3 dice.
So it sounds like they're making a sneak nimbleness roll, and he's going to be making a search cognition roll.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and mine came up a 9.
All right, so it's 3d10, then I put in 2 exclamation points, right? Then what do? I forgot.
K1.
K1.
Then I don't see him.
All right. And let's do the second individual. I should be able to copy paste that, right? Yeah. Let's just do that. All right.
Him, I either see or hear.
You hear thugga 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 going across the roof above you. Over the clatter of the train, he is not trying to be stealthy up there. He's just trying to keep on a footing.
Heading towards the front of the car?
Yes, in the direction of the engine.
Okay. Then I'm reversing my path and going back in between the cars.
All right. And
my intention is to go up to the roof.
Continuing our reverse order of descriptions, we come across Anne.
Okay, so as I'm listening to this as well, the foot tracks, I assume, right? I can hear him.
You need to make a cognition check to notice him. His terrible sneak is a 5, so if you get a 5 or better, you hear them as well.
Okay, so just straight cognition.
Mm-hmm. Yes. With that 10, you definitely can hear somebody running across the roof. For the rest of the individuals in this car, you too can make a cognition check to see if you recognize the sound of footfall across the paneling that is the roof. What would you like to do, Anne?
So this like shiver almost goes through me, and like my eyes kind of grow dark, and I just kind of look up at the footfalls and start moving toward the closest like door or hatch that might get me out and toward it. I look real pissed.
All right. You head to the front of this car, heading in the direction of the engine. The engine on the roof, you can't really place the speed at which he's going. So as you get to that door and open it, you look and he's already leapt the gap onto the next car. So all you see is his foot fleeting away.
I'll keep moving through the cars. I just want to follow, so I get to greet him when he comes inside.
All right.
It's always nice having a pretty lady greet you, isn't it?
I mean, it's Southern hospitality. What can I say?
All right. So you continue following the dog soldier as he heads toward the front of the train. All right. Still going in a backwards motion. Let's find out what the good doctor is doing.
So, upon seeing the gentleman hop on board the railing and realizing that I am a target if I stay here, I'm going to move just a little bit forward so as to remove my silhouette from the outside, and drawing the pistol, looking up with everyone else's attention up at the roof, trying to figure out, okay, so where's this dog soldier gonna be? So if I can guess right, I'm gonna cut loose in a minute with the Gatling pistol into the roof of the train and try and shoot him off.
Okay. So you'd be shooting at a target you can't see, and there are penalties to that. And so as you've moved back out of the point of view and started gauging the person going across the roof, you become aware, just like Anne has become aware, that the dog soldier has hurried across this roof and is heading to the other end of the train. Did I get that right? Okay.
Correct.
Do you want to change what you want to do at this point in time, or are you good for holding your position?
Yeah, I'll hold my position for right this second. Kind of save it for if anybody else tries to pop in. Yeah, there's gonna be an unhappy welcoming.
Excellent. All right, let's catch up with our gunslinger.
Ollie is going to kind of pause for a second after grabbing his Winchester. He's going to work the lever action to chamber around, but then the lantern light in this passenger car is going to catch the shiny brass side of the gun just right, and it's going to kind of glint a little bit. That's about as obvious as his spellcasting gets. There's no obvious magical stuff. He just looks a little kind of cinematic, blurry, flashy for a second. I'm going to try and sling a hex. Kentucky Windage is a hex that lasts for several rounds, and it's going to help me offset some shooting penalties. So I am going to try and kind of start with that, and prep for the fight. Other than that, he's going to stay put here in this comparatively crowded passenger car because he's the most worried about attacking anybody that's attacking the people. So for right now, he's just focused on like getting himself mentally ready to be in a shootout. He's not really looking around a whole lot. He's just kind of attuning with his gun. So I need to make a hex slinging roll, and then I'm going to be drawing some cards. But first things first, I'm rolling 5 dice for my hex slinging, and Kentucky Windage is linked to smarts. So I'm rolling 5d smarts. In this case, that's 5d10. My best one came up an 11, so that's 1 extra raise on the test. It's difficulty 5 for me to successfully cast a hex. Any raises that I get give me extra cards on the draw. So in Ollie's head, he's got this unlucky devil that's been following him his whole life, leading to all this bloodshed and stuff. And this is him slapping a saddle on that mean old devil and kind of making him help him in a fight. So now I go to Rusty's hex deck and I draw myself 6 cards.
Hoot. Oh, there they are.
And then I think this makes them show up on chat if I kind of mouse over him here. And it looks to me like I've got 2 pair. Pair 2s, pair 8s is looking pretty okay. So taking a look again at Kentucky Windage real quick, that requires an ace draw. So moving up above that to 2 pair, it's going to be a pair and then 2 pair. So I'm beating it by multiple. So I'm ignoring a -6 penalty to shooting rolls for the duration of this hex. And I get to reroll 1s on any damage rolls. So it feels like just kind of a good all-around combat buff way to start a fight. Yeah, he just kind of taking a moment to attune to his rifle and getting ready to protect this passenger car. And that about does it for Ollie.
So the audience actually can't see your cards because they're currently viewing.
Sorry.
And so to segue that, what you can do is you can drop your cards onto the actual playing mat.
I got to drag and drop them one at a time, basically?
Drag and drop. And the center picture of the dog soldier would be a great place to kind of put them, because that's where... there we go.
It is laying them out kind of weirdly, but...
Nice.
There we go. Try to show off my 8822, and then if it... In this case, it doesn't particularly... But my extra best card was a jack. Nice. So I had the 2 pair going, which is more than enough to get this spell to trigger for me. So Ollie and his rifle are looking as one, and he's getting ready to lay down some accurate fire.
All right, and the fire starts. Whiskey puts his rifle out the window at this point in time, and he takes the buffalo rifle and let loose with that mini cannon, and it is loud for anyone who's still in the car, entering the car, exiting the car. He doesn't actually shoot at anyone, he shoots over. His aim must be just terrible because he fires well above the Indian's head. The conductor at this point in time is running into the car, and he's catching up and passing as best as he can, and as he's yelling, excuse me, I gotta get through, and he's like running as quickly as he possibly can. He seems to be a man on the mission. The rest of the passengers are hunkering down, they're getting low to the ground, or at least trying to find some sort of cover, save for at least 1 or 2 of the young boys who have pulled themselves up to the window and are now oogling at the Indians outside. The dog soldier outside the window next to Whiskey takes this moment to return fire at Whiskey. He shoots, blows out a chunk of wood and window, spraying a small bit of glass inside. Nothing too dangerous, definitely scaring a bit, and causes Whiskey to hunker back down. To which he says, they mean business. And he will open his buffalo rifle and start loading another one. The dog soldier retaliates by pulling out a 6-shooter and start throwing some lead at the train. So you can choose to become part of this initiative to start shooting back, or you can stay out of it. I will let you make that choice, but right now we are going to do a quickness test and put everybody in an order. So quickness, your target number is a 5. Every raise you get past that gives you another card to play around with.
Yeah, I just tried to type my quickness check into Twitch chat, so 1 second.
Well, I didn't do too well either.
Yeah, 48, and the best I can come up with is a 4.
Oh,
I'm pretty happy with
Ollie
my
going
18.
first.
all right. So Ollie's got an 18. Anne's got a 4.
And just to jog our own memory and to let chat know, because it's our first combat, are we rolling initiative every round, or are we gonna roll it once and kind of stay in order?
You roll initiative every round because that determines the number of cards that you get per round, determining the number of actions you get to do. So for this system, the higher the initiative, the more things you do. The highest you can do, of course, is 5 in a round. 5 actions in 1 round. All right. So what the players do now is they are going to go ahead and draw some cards based on their initiative. If they beat a target number of 5, they get 1 card, I do believe.
Yes.
And if you didn't beat a 5, you get no cards.
I'm actually looking it up now.
Yeah, I think we all had pretty hot initiative rolls in our kind of session 0 test run, so I don't think that one came up on us. I seem to remember we had pretty hot dice overall in that. But what are we looking?
Okay, since Anne did not make the 5, she does not get any cards.
Perfect time for a bathroom break for me.
All right. And Soy Mage as well got a 2. So you are at this point pinned as the fire comes in and your nervousness kicks in just a little bit. We can go with that. All right, so I'm going to draw my 2 cards. No, I got 1 card, didn't I?
Yeah, you need a 10 to get the next one. That's my understanding.
Yes.
So I'm going to deal
and-
myself.
Ollie gets 3 for the round.
I'm gonna
Right,
deal
and this is
myself
coming
a-
from ours are coming from the player's deck. Viewers might notice we've got a couple different decks of cards in the way up here. Different, there's one for the GM, one for all the players together, and then there's one for anybody doing Mojo. So this one I'm going for the normal player's deck, not my special Hexslinger deck.
I'm going to attempt to modify your deck so people can see it. Let's
I
see
was
if we can
actually
do that.
wrong. You only get no cards if you go bust.
Ah, so how many cards do they get?
You automatically get 1 card
Mm-hmm.
plus 1 for the success and every additional race. So I get
Ooh.
2, Ollie gets 4, Anne and the doctor will get 1 apiece.
Okay.
Oh, right.
If you go bust, you get none. I merged the sentences when I was skimming it.
And it looks to me like I went bust because I rolled a 2 on 2.
Going bust is more than half your dice come up once.
And
that-
you only have
that-
2 dice. And that's so one of them came a 1 and the other one came a 2, so more than half did not become 1s.
So you tried your best, but you didn't quite go bust.
Try a little harder next time.
Then, if it lets me, I'm going to hold on for a moment, and we'll save my reaction for last if I can. I don't remember if
You can. Yeah, you can. So I'm just going to deal you a card real quick, because you get one. Anne gets one. And James, how many did you get?
I only get 2.
There we go. So as everybody can see, you guys have got some cards. If you're going to drop the cards, try to, if you can drop them in some way. So as I call them, that the audience gets a chance to see them as well. So let's start off with, actually should look at my cards. Okay, there they are. All right.
And also, if you can, do you want to clean up the draw hand that I did for Kentucky Windage just to get that out of the way?
Yes, I can.
I'm not sure if we can. Once we drag and drop them, I don't think we can clean up after ourselves. So Max has to play mom.
Yes, I do. All right. So, starting off as the initiative goes in this combat, this system, I start off at aces, and I call out aces. And I'm going to go down each value of card until somebody calls out, I have that. Now, starting off, if somebody has, let's say somebody has a jack, and they don't want to go on jack, they want to save that jack for later, for whatever reason, they can call, it into what's called cheating. They put it up their sleeve, and they can hold on to it and then pull it back out later. But they have to let the game master know, they have to let me know, the marshal, hey, I'm cheating. All right, cool. They get to pick one of their cards, and that's the one they put off to a side. We don't have a mechanism in the system, i.e. this digital setup we're doing, that actually can signify that, so it's all part of good old honesty. All right, so top is ace, kings, queens, jack.
I have a jack.
All right. Leander's got a jack. What do
And
we
I
got?
will lay it out there for everyone to see. Yeah, the guy that is shooting in at this passenger car in earnest. I'm gonna shoot him. So Ollie's gonna kind of pivot at the sound of that gunfire, and just take a shot at that guy, because he's trying to be a good dude, and anybody unloading a Colt in the general direction of a passenger car full of women and children and such, he's not going to let that stand. So I'm still sitting on that Kentucky Windage. It's good for 5 rounds. I'm able to ignore 6 points of penalties. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a called shot to the head. Ollie is taking no guff. He is aiming high. And I'm just going to go ahead and plug that guy. For range brackets here, we double check on my Winchester. It's got a range of 20. I'm not sure. This guy was shooting a pistol, so I'm assuming he's fairly close. But I figured I'd check with.
You divide that number of yards between the shooter and the target by the range of the weapon. And what that does is it adds a 5 per range. Let's see. Target number to hit something is 5 plus range modifier. Okay, so say he was 21 yards away. That means it'd be a +1, so the target number would be 6. He's not. He's within that first 20. So the target number is still 5 from that.
So I'm looking for a 5 to hit. I will assemble my shooting pool and do some work.
I'm checking to see if there's anything else that needs to be taken into consideration. We'll take in bad lighting into consideration. That's a -2.
All right. There's my roll. I got 40, 12. Keep one -2. I rolled a 7 as my highest die. Even with the -2, that's a 5. And that's with called shot head and my ignoring 6 balancing out. So I believe that means I just shot him in the head.
That is correct. Any shots to the head get an extra 2 dice.
And this Winchester is normally a fairly solid 4d8 damage. So it's going to be 6d8, and I reroll 1s. I'm not sure how to put in a reroll 1 code in Roll20.
Neither
Anybody got that off the top of their head?
Mm-mm.
So I'm just going to put in a 6d8 for now. I don't see any 1s anyway, so no rerolls. But he has taken 27 points of damage.
We divide that number by the number 6 because of his size, and that makes 4 wounds to the head. All right. He'll take 4d6 in wind damage, and...
Do you want me to roll it, or do you want to roll?
I do want you to roll that.
All right. That's going to be 11 wind, unless I get to re-roll that one. Is this considered the damage roll of the weapon, or is the wind thing kind of a step removed? I'm fine either way. I just thought I'd mention it since I saw one.
It is a step removed.
Alrighty. So that's 27 damage. That's 11 wind.
And 4 wounds to the head. I'm trying to... Let's see. That's the art of dueling, stabbing, throwing, fighting, two-fisting, vamoosing, hit locations.
You rolled 27 on the wind?
No.
No, 27 on the damage, 11 on the wind.
Here we go. Critical wound? Let's see. Life-threatening. Arteries, fractures, internal bleeding. Yeah. We're going to say that automatically knocks him off his horse.
Sounds good.
I mean, I can make him do a riding roll, but I think he's got a lot of penalties.
Critical is neg 4 now. Nice shot.
And I figured knocking somebody off their horse probably counts as taking him out of the fight. So I hope he learned a valuable lesson about shooting a 6-gun into a crowded passenger car full of women and children. Ollie's a man that lives by a code.
All right. Your Winchester goes off. The dog soldier rolls off his pony and onto the ground and into the darkness. The next in line after the Jack. So I just want to cue in the Soy Mage and Anne. You guys stepped away, and James pointed out that you get 1 card unless you bust. Neither of you busted, so you at least got 1 card for your initiative. You'll see them at the bottom of your screen for Roll20. So you guys can still have actions. We have moved on to Jack. So if it's between an ace to a Jack, and you want to go ahead and do something, now would be the time to kind of jump in and take care of that. No? Soy?
Sorry about all that. Computer and technical difficulties, I'm trying to get them fixed.
All right. Do you know what your card is? Well, actually, you know what? I think I can come over here and click on it. You're good. Yeah, I can see everybody's cards. Cool. I made sure to do that one. All right. So, Jacks. After Jacks, we go to 10s.
I have the 10 of hearts.
Excellent. So you're next in line.
I am... I'm assuming by now I am in between the kitchen and the passenger car. I am actually going to climb the ladder to go up to the roof, since I know someone was up there.
Okay. All right. You're going to spend this action climbing. That will be pretty much this round, is getting your butt up that ladder. When you get up there, you do see in the next car up that there is a dog soldier running along the length of the train. And is there anything that you want to kind of prep to do before too long?
If I'm able to do, if climbing up was my action, then I will have to wait until my next card.
Fair enough. After 10, we go to 9s. 8s. Alrighty then. I have an 8 for one of the individuals on the top of the train. So, as Father Cross, you have pulled yourself up to see that one engine. You hear a hoot from behind you and get waylaid by a weighted stick. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. It's not going to be real quick. It's just going to take a second. And there's his fighting. 3d10. Oh my goodness, this is going to hurt. Gosh, I hope it hurts. It sounds like a really big dice roll. Alright, so he's got a 5 to hit you. He's not making any called shots or anything. He's just trying to whack at you from the car behind. The gap is enough that he has to actually reach out, so we'll apply a -1 because he kind of like has to reach a distance to try to whack you with this stick. We're going to give the penalty for darkness as well because it's dark up here. There's not a lot of light. Other than that, I'm just looking at a -3 for him to accomplish this. So let's pop that in and see what happens. He gets a 5. Successfully hits you with his stick. All right. Damage on that is strength value is 2d12, and the regular damage is 2d6. So let's pop that 2d12 in there.
And the when it's for damage, the 2d12 just gets rolled and added like a normal damage roll, right? It's not like a skill or an attribute check for this.
For melee weapons, it is an attribute check, so only the highest value is important in this one. So as you watch, that's the oh man.
Like even that 10 was pretty good. Like damn.
That's just the dog boy's physical strength. Is just that. Now we do the 2d6.
So I guess the good news is they're not totaled together in this case.
So the 2d6 is a 7. So we take the 7, which that's totaled together, and we add that to the 21. So that's a
28.
28. Yes.
Oh,
so
I'm going down because
yes.
That's 6 wounds right there.
Still comes down. Hit location could also be important because I don't think there was a called shot or anything.
It was not because it's dark. He's just trying to swing and hit this. So we're going to roll a d20.
So it might have just whacked you on the arm or something. We'll see.
And it's a leg shot. He didn't get any raises or anything, so it's purely just a leg shot.
So kind of as he's scrambling the last of the way up onto the car, this guy from behind whacks him and kind of hits him in the back of the leg from the car behind him.
Yes.
It's kind of how it's looking. Yep. Gotcha.
Yes.
I can see that happening. Yeah.
And when he makes that blow, that damaging blow, it makes a terrible crunching noise as the weight comes down on your leg. Since it's a 6, that's above maiming. So that's definitely a broken leg. Can you take more than 6 wounds in wind? Let me check on that real quick, and then we'll get that wind damage out of the way. Good news, it's not sharp, so you're not going to be bleeding.
See, like, what I'm picturing is, like, just as you're, like, slithering up the last little bit, like, he hits you in, like the foot ankle area, and just, like, the knee just goes crunch. Like, your leg just bends the wrong way as, like, all his weight's on it. Like, there's no pleasant mental image for a hit with a club that does that much damage. Like, there's no way to make it not make you grimace. That's an unlucky stinking roll.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, 6 wounds. The cap is 5, so the only penalty you're going to have, leg-related usage and stuff, is a 5. But now the good news is you're on top of the train, and we're going to do 6 dice worth of wind damage real quick.
I would actually like to spend a chip as a reaction.
Sure.
All right. Because it was so devastating and he did 6 wounds to my leg,
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to spend the 1 blue chip I have
Okay.
to bring it down by 3 wounds. So the wind damage will only be 3d6.
Okay. All right, I can do that.
That seems like a sound investment to this particular Deadlands newbie.
Right. And since it is a blue chip, the marshal will not be able to draw in favor of his guys.
So as Father Cross, you climb up, you pull yourself up, you make eye contact on the dog soldier running along the way. You begin pushing yourself up just a little bit farther, and as your knee is on that edge, you hear a "Aye!" and then BAM! It hits hard enough that it sends you kind of like a roll to one side. Your hand grasps a hold of the top of the train and to hold on as you have this lack of sensation in your lower part of your leg, and you look up to see that there's a dog soldier only feet away from you, and he's whipped back his hammer, this stick with a rounded head on it, and now it looks like he's about to leap from where he's at to the train with you. All right, that was on an 8. Oh man, Father Cross, I hope God has given you some healing hands. After 8, we go on to 7s. Anybody who has a 7? No?
My time to shine.
Oh, it's the good doctor's turn.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly, our good father is on board picking a fight with a dog soldier and not winning.
No, I was going to talk to him.
From where I'm positioned, peeking my head out and firing off a burst, is there anybody I have a visual on that I can potentially hit with a 3-round with a burst of fire?
There's sounds, so you know that you heard someone running to the front of the train, and you just now, I'm pretty sure there's no way you couldn't hear, that howl from Father Cross and the dog soldier at the back of this car and up. I mean, I assume that you would. So there's those two, and you know that there are some outside of the train.
Yeah, those were the ones I was referring to. I was going to poke my head up, see one that was on their horse, and fire off a 3-round burst at whoever's the nearest one on their horse.
Okay, yeah, not a problem. Yes, there's probably one about 20 yards away.
Okay, so you said 20 yards?
Mm-hmm. Let's check that out. Because you're firing a pistol, that puts it at the 2nd range increment, so the target number starts off at 6. Your rate of fire is 3, so you get 3 shots with this one card. James, does he roll individually for those 3 bullets, or does he roll one time for 3 bullets?
Is he fanning?
No, he's got a Gatling pistol. He's fancy.
Yeah, it's 3 separate attack rolls, is my understanding.
As far as I don't know much about the Gatling pistols. Right now, I would say that's your call while I look it up.
I do believe.
Look at it.
I do. Well, you know what? You can work on that. I do believe that he is firing 3 shots. It is 3 different rolls with 1 action. I'm going to stick with that one, and because it's a multiple shot, we'll throw in the recoil rules. How many shots do you intend to fire?
I'm going to fire 3. Because I was looking at the Gatling pistol here in the Mad Scientist section, because kind of have to with a weapon I'm using.
Okay.
A wind-up gear releases 3 shots every time the trigger is pulled. But I have to roll a reliability roll because this is a piece of mad science tech.
Right.
For the record, Max, I just found it. It's a little bit different than when I had rate of fire. Automatic weapons are a little off. So for this, it is 1 attack roll, and then his shooting roll determines how many bullets hit. So it's more of a modern machine gun automatic fire, not the just shooting real fast method that I had going. Right. So yeah, it does look a little bit quicker. Just going to be 1 attack roll.
Excellent. And I'm going to check the recoil rules real quick on page here and see if they apply, because I think they do. Firing off a hail of automatic fire is hard to control. Each burst fired after the first is a single action suffered a -2. So this is your first burst of 3. You have no penalty, but if you keep holding that trigger down, it's going to get harder and harder. It goes -2, then -4, then -6, and so on and so forth. You can see how that's climbing. All right. So your target number is 6 for this first burst.
Alrighty. So first things first, do I need to roll the d20 for the reliability to see if it does even fire?
Yes.
Or should I roll the attack first?
Do reliability as first, and I do believe the reliability on it is a 19.
19.
Here it says along with the roll, but in roll 20, it's kind of hard to roll more than 1 thing of dice at a time. So
You're fine. Scary.
Really close.
I'm just getting the bad rolls out of the way, folks.
Now you're going to be wishing that was your shooting roll.
James, when we get some spare time, I want you to look up and see if chips can be used to counteract reliability rolls.
I will look into that.
Cool enough. He rolled 6d6 and got a series of 5s. Not a single 6. Does, let's see, anything modify... Nope, I don't see anything that gives you a bonus when firing so many bullets. Oh, here's the automatic weapons. For every burst fire... Oh, this is about recoil. To hit multiple targets... Oh, that's something different. Okay. So you spray into the dog soldier riding along the next car back, and you didn't succeed.
it's all right. Suppressive fire.
Yeah,
Amen.
I'm pretty sure he's thinking there are 3 dudes in there with guns shooting at him at this point in time. All right. Next on the... We're still on 7. Is there any other 7s? 6s.
I believe the lovely Miss McDade and I both had 6s. I have the 6 of spades, but I already got to do something awesome this turn, so I'm going to delay the action just a fraction of a second to let her do something badass instead.
Okay.
The spade was supposed to win the tie.
What a gentleman.
Right? He was raised right. Those sisters down at St. Mary's taught him manners.
Excellent.
Just like a drill sergeant.
All right. You are currently in the business car. And you are moving quickly. You have your tomahawks out. You have heard the dog soldier jump onto this roof, and it sounds like he is running. As you enter into this car, you are aware that he's running. So this is the new sense of information that you've gotten. Oh crap, he's getting ahead of me. Also, the fact that when you crossed into this car, he was already... all you saw was his foot passing into the darkness. And as you're getting ready to move quickly, the conductor is at this point pushing past you with an intense amount of, get out of the way, move. And so as you're prepping yourself for this action, he's running past you at a full tilt, trying to get to the front of the engine, in front of the train.
I barely even see him, and the more this guy keeps running ahead of me, the angrier I'm getting. So I move to keep up with him. Wherever he's ending up, I'm ending up.
All right. You have an incredible speed and prowess, and it should easily translate into keeping up with this guy. I need you to make a cognition roll.
All right. Well, in my current state of mind, all of my mental stats go down by 1 dice type.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the lowest dice type there is?
D4s.
Okay, we do count D4s in this. So I'm going to be rolling 44.
Explosions can happen. What do we got?
A 3. It is an easy thing to catch. It's not like the jet. It's a foolproof scenario. You would have to roll really pretty hard. As you hit the front of this car to cross over into the next one, the dog boy is leaping over, but another one has leapt up to the railing and pulled himself up by the ladder, and he is between these two cars. When he sees you come out, he reaches back with a tomahawk that he's got in hand, and looks like he's about to swing at it. Everything for you, of course, is you get to go first because he doesn't have a card yet, but you've come across him.
I would like to go ahead with my tomahawk, and instead of swinging at his body, he's holding on to the car, right?
Yes.
And he's got one hand in the air because he wants to hit me. So I want to swing to that arm that's holding him on.
Gruesome.
And try to remove that arm so he cannot hold on.
All right. You are going to be called shot for the arm.
For an arm or leg is a -4.
It's a -4. That is correct.
I keep the called shot chart handy. No reason.
All right. To remove his limb, you must do 5 wounds or greater. So you got to get an amazing roll like I got a little while ago, beating the priest's leg into submission.
We're going to try.
Yeah. So if you want to drop chips at this point in time, that would be the reason to do so.
Yeah, so remind me what each of these chips does.
I will let James take it from there.
If you use a white chip, it's the equivalent of adding a trait or aptitude level, like you have 1 additional point in that.
So you go from like 4 dice to 5 dice?
Exactly. However, once you spend a red or blue chip, you can no longer spend a white chip, and you can be unlimited with the white chips. The red chip, when you spend it, you roll that separately and add that number to the total of your highest result.
Nice.
So and it aces just like a normal aptitude check would. However, when you spend a red chip, the marshal gets to draw a chip from the fate pot for his guys. The blue chip does exactly what the red chip does, but the marshal does not get a chip.
There we go.
Noted. And then if I remember correctly, it's been a couple weeks since I've read this, but with my current state of mind, all of my physical traits go up a die type. So my fighting is actually a 5d12. So since I can't go up higher than a d12, I think I get, what, a +2?
That is correct.
So now I'm really only fighting, you said, for my called shot, I'm fighting against a -4, but really it's a -2 with my thing.
Yes.
All right. Let's go ahead and, for funsies, use a couple of white chips. So I get my 5d12 +2, and then if I add 2 white chips, I'd be rolling 7d12 +2?
Yes.
Yep. Let's do it.
All right.
We're going to put her in a pugilist ring, right?
This was a bad day for this guy to come out of the teepee.
I think he's unless these dice are grotesquely unlucky, something bad's about to happen.
So the highest dice you rolled is a 12. So you're going to want to roll that 12 again. So you're going to want to, because the dice explode. When you put into the chat, if they look like this, the computer will automatically calculate it. So you need to roll another d12.
So I'm typing in the /roll
Not
1d.
Yeah, not for this. Just I apologize. Go ahead and finish what you were saying.
I was going to try to use your formula, but I think you were saying I should have used.
You still kind of should. It would be 1d12 exclamation because this d12 can still explode. The exclamation points are us telling Roll20 like keep that mama jamma rolling if it maxes out. That's
and then I keep the K1 at the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you get a 12. Add an 8 makes it a 20. With the plus 2 makes it a 22. We take out 4, and it goes, because that's the called shot, and it goes down to an 18. Math suddenly failed. The target number was a 5, and so you got 2 raises over that. So you hit the location.
That sounds good.
It is. Raises in melee combat mean what?
Say that again.
I have to check something. Raises in melee combat.
Yeah, I know in ranged combat, raises can help you modify your hit location roll. I think in melee combat they do more than that.
Every raise on attack roll lets your attacker adjust the hit location point up or down. This way, really good attacks are more likely to get a killing blow on the vitals. Just gets a really good hit on the arm, and so we can definitely say that the strike, as well as she's rolled, is going to land onto the wrist, and I will already incur the weapon's going to do an extra die of damage. Now your tomahawks, do you know how much damage your tomahawks do?
Let me see. It's on my sheet here. I do not see it on my sheet.
I will help you look if you would like.
Yes, please.
Well, I know with a close combat roll, like the first thing is going to be a strength roll anyway. So she can roll that while we try to find the specific tomahawk stat.
All right. You did not add that into your character sheet. We can work on that later. And I believe that you're using the metal tomahawks from the Smith and Robar book, which means it does 2d6 damage. And because the normal tomahawks do 2d8, but they're slow and clunky. They have a terrible rate of fire. You can't swing them more than like once in a round. So it's 2d6 plus your strength, which is right now incredibly high.
So 2d6 plus my strength, and then you said you were giving me an extra die?
Mm-hmm. To the tomahawks, so there'll be 3d6.
Okay.
So 3d6 normal code, because that just gets totaled up for the tomahawk damage. So just roll 3d6.
Excellent. Now we're going to do the roll 20 code for your strength stat.
All right, my strength right now currently is 2d10.
Mm-mm.
All right.
No, your strength should be more than that. My
strength is normally 2d8.
I could have swore it was higher. You're only doing the berserking. Go ahead.
You're right because we did the. Go ahead. You're right because we did the. I also have my supernatural trait and my. Yeah, I get a plus a die type. So yeah, I'm at a 2d.
And then this one you want to format like an attribute check. So it's the 2d12 exclamation keep one. Close combat damage is a combination of both.
Okay. So we get a 9 and we got a 7. That's a 16. The guy's size, that's 2 wounds. Straight to his wrist. I'm going to make him make a strength test at a penalty because he just got tomahawked in the wrist. It's going to be a...
Yeah, you try to hold your body weight with a tomahawk in your wrist.
Yeah, it's going to be a climb check. He does actually have a dice in climb, but he's still going to suffer a penalty.
Yeah, and like 2 wounds is a heavy wound, right? I'm trying to see what that means. I believe it's here we go. It's a -2 for the affected thing.
All right. There's the roll. He got a 0.
Eep.
To my rules lawyer, is that a bust?
It's only a bust if the natural roll before modifiers comes up once.
Okay. But a 0 is still a failure at this point in time. So yeah, he loses a hold and falls beneath the edge of the train, disappearing into the darkness.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
As soon as he falls, I look down at him falling and then look up at where the other guy.
He got lucky.
That was on a 6. Ollie, are you going to...
Yeah. Then also at 6, I am going to push my luck because we're here to learn how the game works and to show it to viewers. So my action at 6 is going to be another hex. I'm going to use or attempt to use the rapid fire hex. Hearing increased gunfire all around, I'm going to try and make my Winchester emptyable a little more quickly. So it's going to be another 5D something roll. In this case, rapid fire is triggered by knowledge instead of smarts. So that's going to be a 5D8 for me to do this initial spell casting. I'm topping out at a 7, so I succeed. It's difficulty 5, but I get no extra raises. So now I'm drawing a hand of 5 cards. And for rapid fire to work, I need at least an ace. All right. I just noticed an issue with my draw. I still had a 10 in my hex deck. That's my bad. So I had a 10 of diamonds that shouldn't be there. I know the rest of you can't see it. But what I'm going to be using for this is a pair of 3s. That's the best I can manage from the 5 cards that I should have had. I need to remember to empty out my hex deck. Sorry, guys. So I need an ace for it to work. I got a pair, so that's going to give me +2 rate of fire.
Nice.
So the rate of fire on my gun goes from a 1 to a 3. So when it's my turn next, I'm just going to be working that lever real quickly and busting out a halo lead.
Excellent. All right. That's on 6. So now we're going to move on to 5s. 4s.
I'm up at 5.
You're up at 5.
So I was kind of setting things up there. So yeah, Ollie kind of strikes a pose, shoulders his rifle real carefully, and is getting ready to do something really cool and quick. and then on 5 he does something really cool and quick.
Okay.
I heard the war cry from above us and a thump and a bone-crunching thing as the Padre got hit. So I am going to use my Kentucky windage, ignoring -6 penalty thing, to ignore the total concealment of shooting at that guy through the thing. So total concealment's normally a -4. If he's yelling and stomping, that's kind of what it sounds like to me. So I'm just going to ignore the blind fire, and I'm going to shoot at him 3 times with this 3-shot action. So I'm not calling a shot. I'm just going to gotta be plugging up there where I suspect this guy is.
All right.
So, yeah, I'm looking at a series of... I know the range shouldn't offer a penalty.
No.
I'm offsetting the other penalty, so I'm still looking for just a 5. So let's see if this cinematic moment works out, or if I look like a chump and don't actually help the preacher man.
Oh boy. Cross your fingers, Father, or at least pray to God. Looks like we lost our priest for a moment. Oh, he's coming back. There he is.
Sorry about that. For some reason, I lost my my speaker
10.
volume in my call.
Excellent.
So the first shot is a 10. That's 1 hit and 1 raise. My hit location roll is a 13. I don't know if you want to apply modifiers for the angle here, because I'm kind of shooting at him from below. I figured I'd leave that up to you. I don't know if there's a way to factor.
There is. So 13, you can't really adjust. I mean, I guess you can because of the raise. So 13 is in an arm shot. And even if you went up by 1 to a 14, which you could do, it'd still be an arm shot.
Still arm. So that's a pretty solid damage roll again, though. That's 22 damage.
There is a
on that
problem
arm.
here. Anytime you shoot through cover, the dice type drops by 1. So
Okay, my bad. I'll just re-roll the whole shebang.
I just looked that up and I was like, oh man, I should keep that in mind. But then my mind slipped. I was thinking about the majestic moments this fight is producing. I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
All right, so the modified roll with 4 d6s came up a 13, but I get to re-roll 1s because of Kentucky windage. So the total is going to be a 15 on that damage roll to the arm.
2 wounds. Okay, making notes.
And while you note that, I'm going to always just real quickly working that lever and pulling the trigger like greased lightning down there. So I will move on to the next attack.
Go for it.
That's another 10. So now I do locations at 2.
That's the leg. Even breaking it up by 1 would be still
Sure.
a leg.
And then it's going to be 4d6 again for damage.
Another.
So it should have been an 11. Re-rolling 2 of the 1s. Can things be re-rolled more than once?
Yeah.
Because one of the re-rolls also came up a 1. It's up to you.
You're not supposed to get 1s with that Kentucky windage.
All right. So that will be 9 plus 8. That'll be 17 damage to the leg
3
after
wounds.
getting to re-roll the... And the third and final shot is an 8. No raises, but that's fine.
Hits him in.
Location 12.
Arm shot.
11 damage.
All right, for 1 wound.
So I believe it was a total of 5 wounds.
Do me a favor and roll d6 twice. That will determine if you hit the left arm or the right arm. It
A
is
2 and a 3.
that is the right arm twice. So the right arm has taken 3 wounds. Go ahead and roll 6d6, and that's the total amount of wind he just took.
20.
Alrighty. Father Cross, as you are turned over and he is wheeled back, getting ready to come down for another massive blow on top of you, God decides to give someone the clarity to shoot not only between your arm and your midsection through the actual roof, hit this guy, then twice through your legs, not hitting you at all, wood splintering around you. The dog soldier gets hit both times and falls off the train.
Okay.
I think that's worth the price of a train ticket.
That's also worth drawing a chip from the hat there. I love it. Do it.
Alrighty, I'm not gonna disagree.
Okay. For a moment there, I just watch as he gets shot. I look down at the hole right between my legs, and I do the cross sign on myself, and I go, "Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord." And I just lean forward to look through the hole and go, "Thank you."
All right. That was on a 5. Any other 5s? 4s.
I have the 4 of spades.
And that's all you.
All right, so he shot him in the arm, so he's still up and moving around. I am actually going to go on the defensive on this one, and I am going to cast Armor of Righteousness.
He did get shot in the arm and the leg, and then he fell off the train.
Okay.
So he's not up and about, and
All right. Then I am looking off the train to see if there are any other dog soldiers around.
from your point of view, it's kind of dim. You can hear noise, and you can see silhouettes on the horizon in both in the one direction off the right-hand side of the train. It looks like other soldiers have come forward and grabbed those horses and rode off with them, or are trying to peel back around. They're kind of like weighing out. But to your advantage, you see that a gentleman in the back with a massive display of feathers, he's making his head very round, has climbed up, and he's jumping from the caboose in your direction. You know he's there mostly because you hear kapow as you see the flash of a muzzle. That's it. He doesn't hit you, but he definitely shot at you.
Oh, fun. All right. I'm actually going to fire back with my 4 then.
All right. At the distance he's at, we're going to put it 40 yards away. No, that's too much. We're going to say 30. Yeah.
30. All right. So
That makes sense.
that's going to be a total of 9 on me. You know what? With him firing and starting to make his way towards me, if I stay still, it's going to be the next round when he gets to me?
His pace is probably about a 10, so it'll be maybe about at least 3 actions before he's on top of you, depending upon his draw.
Okay. Since I'm at the front of this car, will it take up my action card to actually move to the back end of this car? Or can I still do an action?
You want to, like, crawl to the back of the car, or are you going to stand up and walk with your busted leg?
That's right. I am going to use Healing Hand then. Or Lay on Hands.
Lay on Hands.
And since I am casting this while wounded, I will have a -3 on my
Bless you.
roll.
Thank you.
Woo! 10.
which gives me a 10. And let me look to see what my target was. 'Cause I
This
think
is
I-
okay. If you succeed, let me know, because I'm willing to sacrifice an action and try to use Raise in the Pot to give you some extra hits on this. That was one of my other hexes that I know is particularly effective helping out a spell can. And I'm trying to be a team player here, but it does need to be a successful roll first in order for me to then try to pile on some extra mojo and help.
well, luckily for me, I only need to succeed to. Let's see. I'm at a serious wound. I only need a 9 on the check, and it's gone.
What is this one called? Lay on Hands?
Lay on Hands in the 20th anniversary book, page 178.
And this is a heavy wound? No, this is a serious wound, isn't it?
Yep.
It is a 9. Good luck.
Well, oh, that's right. I had a -3 on my roll. I'm gonna toss a white chip in there too.
A white chip?
Actually, no, you're right. I'm gonna throw one of my red chips in there to.
Woo! That means I get the draw.
So it sounds like, at least with this particular one, you're not actually doing all the normal card shenanigans and stuff. So I can't help out anymore.
No, because if I was to do it the same way you would be doing it, I would not be a blessed.
Gotcha. It all works differently. That's what we're figuring out.
Mm-hmm.
Just remember, when in doubt, use a Gatling pistol.
All right. That 5 is added to a 7, bringing it to a 12, meaning
which
I
beats-
have made it.
Congrats.
So I am no longer wounded.
All right. You take a moment. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, is there a cool spell? Like, do you glow and stuff, or does it just kind of heal? Like, what do we see?
Yeah.
Or
give
at
it
least,
a
what
script.
could we see if we see it? You know?
All right. So for a moment, as I look back and I see the muzzle flash and I see the silhouette on the night sky, and seeing how far he is from me, I look down at my leg and I, under my breath, as I'm reaching for my cross with one hand, I close my eyes and I say, Lord, help me heal my wounds so that I may fight in your name. And my other hand begins to glow as it lays down on my injured leg, and the glow begins spreading across my leg until the wound is no more. And then I just flex my leg a little bit, ready to move on.
Excellent. Excellent. I like it. And that was on a 4. Anybody else got 4s? Well, then the last thing we've got to work with are 3s.
I am up with a 3 up my sleeve as well. I'm actually going to use the cheating rules and keep that 3 up my sleeve to potentially interrupt something next turn. Ollie's just kind of focused on protecting this car full of people. So he's just, in response to the preacher man hollering down thanks, like Ollie's just working the lever, shooting. He's going to reach up and like prop his hat up a little bit as both a tipping his hat to the preacher and keeping the hat out of his eyes, as he then just kind of is scanning this passenger car for anybody else attacking it. So he's just going to sit on that 3, keep an eye out for anybody that needs a good shooting.
All right. So on 3, a dog soldier is coming up alongside. He has 2 pistols out. On 3, Whiskey is yelling, my rifle's jammed, my rifle's jammed. And you can see he's rolling back out of the window. So you're holding your card, and on this point in time, this dog soldier's riding up. He's got both of his Colt navies pulled out, and he's two-fist firing.
Well, all right then. I guess I'm not going to hold that action for very long. I'm going to just shoot that.
All right. I'm assuming you're going to try to get a pot shot off before he gets a good solid shot in.
I'm going to try and shoot him 3 times because my rate of fire is still 3. So we're just going to keep that up. What kind of modifiers are we looking at for lighting?
Still, not like the guy on the top where you couldn't see him all. This is bad lighting or poor visibility because he is alongside the train and the lights from the actual lanterns are casting out, and so you can see him. And he's probably only about 5 yards away, right in the back of a Pinto.
So, let's see. Torchlight or Twilight is a -4. I'm going to go for like torso shots. Gizzard shots, we said earlier, are going to be a -4s. So I'm looking at a total of -8. Kentucky Windage makes it a -2. Excellent. So I'm going to make 3 attack rolls at -2. Just trying to plug this guy in the chest and knock him off his horse, basically. So,
are you leaning toward the open doorway and shooting around at him, or are you moving toward an open window and shooting at him?
I figure out the window.
All right.
Is probably the easiest way to kind of see this. So the first shot is an 8.
And that is a hit.
All right, and then location's going to be gizzards. Gizzards are 1 extra damage. So that is 25 damage after re-rolling the 1 on that. So,
that's 4 wounds.
Second shot is a 9. That's another hit.
Yep.
That's going to be 13 points of damage on the second.
2 wounds to the same location, putting it at 6.
And the last shot is a 9, so just another hit. For 22 damage.
Whew. Another 4. No, another 3. Putting it at 9 wounds of damage to his guts. We're not even going to worry about the windage related to that because you have just given that man a new breathing hole.
All right, so Ollie just plugs him 3 times in the chest, knocks him off his pony. He is no longer in this story. And I'm down 3 more shots. At this point, any keen observers in the crowd or any civilians on the train car notice Ollie hasn't got any more Winchester ammo in those belt loops of his gun, or in those belt loops on his gun belt or anything. All he's got is 1 fully loaded Winchester, so he's investing pretty hard, but it feels pretty urgent.
All right. At the end of the round is 2. Does anybody have any 2s? I'm assuming Soy Mage, you've slid that card up your sleeve for this coming up round.
No, give me 1 second. Let me clear that one from mine. That was the 7 I had.
Perfectly fine. Just throw it out onto the floor, just drag and drop. All right. So we come to 2s, and 2s we are at the end of the round where, the environmental effects take place. The Indian on the roof runs and jumps to the next car at this point in time. And you turn and continue your pursuit. You're continuing your pursuit. You're rushed through the entranceway, and tomahawking that 1 was just a passing motion for you. It's all going very quickly.
Darn tootin'.
As you are running through. You're now running through the. I do believe it is the fancy car where you're staying at with everybody and all the little rooms. And so you're shifted off to one side as the hallway goes along so that you can have those little cabin rooms. And so now you're not directly underneath the dog soldier as he's running along the top of the train. Shifting back to the back end of the train, the Indian on the roof, he has pulled himself up and he's running at the priest. He is not alone at this time, Father, as you see that there is another individual, probably about one car back from where you're at, who is now pulling themselves up too. So there is one that is about 3 cars back and one that is 1 car back. And then finally, for those who are still in the car, there are 2 more dog soldiers who are riding up at this point in time. One of them has a Winchester, and he's riding low to his pony, while the other one has pulled a distance back and is got a bow and arrow out. But his bow and arrow has a lit piece of wadding on it. So that's where we're at the end of this round. And so we're going to remove all the cards from the playing field, but we're not shuffling the decks. The decks don't get shuffled every round. They get reshuffled once we hit either the bottom of the deck, which doesn't happen, or the black joker, because that's when we get reshuffled and done.
So this is just cleaning up the table a little bit.
I appreciate it, but I
Yeah.
have special skills over here. I can recall all of them just like... Let's see if this works.
I think they end up going to the top of the deck. I'm not sure.
They don't, because my option is deal, recall... oh, wait. I believe you might be correct. Let's go ahead and deal one of those cards out to James and see what it is. We're going to do the top 4 cards.
For the record, I'm just tickled pink at the mental image of Anna McDade running back through the fancy car with all the ladies
Any
and
of us
gentlemen.
have an ace for the round?
Yeah, none of these cards came up, so that is not the top of the initiative.
Okay, then the recall is to the bottom of the deck. All right.
Pretty much. We're just going to leave them on the floor. All right, so they came in this order. I'm stealing these cards from you, James.
All right, not a problem.
I feel very fancy, Rusty. I don't know what you're talking about.
Actually, it's not working, so you just drop them off.
She left the fancy car a couple hours ago, was hanging out with the commons, singing their little songs and stuff, and then the next time they see her, she just spattered in blood with her girded loins as she's got her skirts tucked up around her with a bloody tomahawk in each hand and just like sprinting through. They're like, what is going on in those back cars?
Exactly.
A party.
Clearly.
She's mad because they interrupted such a nice party.
You never interrupt a lady playing her violin.
All right, so you guys are going to re-roll your quickness, and we're going to do that initiative thing again. This time there are...
Right.
I'm going to roll my quickness correctly this time.
Go for it.
Oof. I rolled my quickness very incorrectly to only get a 5, but it's still going to be 2 cards.
And I get 2 cards.
Yeah, I definitely liked my 8 million a lot better. And can we go ahead and draw?
Yes.
Like, are you done messing with the deck? Like, it's reset and stuff? Okay, just making sure.
Yep, we're good.
And remind me how many cards you draw once you pass 5.
You get 1 automatic one for the success in every race. You get an additional 1 up to 5.
So with an 8, I'm rolling, or I'm drawing...
we
You get
each get
2 cards.
Oh, 2?
Yes, because your target number is 5. So you got the 1 automatic, and then you got the 1 for the 8.
And then Max comes out of nowhere with those loaded dice. rolling 2d10, getting a 21 and a 15.
I know. Did you see
Like,
that?
oh, which loaded die should I keep?
All right. So everybody's got their cards, and the Indians that are in group 2, the dog boys. That's riffs. The dog soldiers that are group 2 are the ones at the back of the train coming toward the priest. The ones at the front of the train are in group 1. All right, so top of the round, anybody got aces? No aces? Move on to kings.
King of diamonds here.
King of spades. Although you're prepped, father, the one that is pulling himself up a car away pulls himself up quickly, sees you, lays down on the car, pulls out his pistol, and begins fanning at you. Or just pulling the trigger and slamming the hammer. Pull the trigger and slam the hammer. He is a card's distance away, so that puts it at a target number of 7. And let's see, is there anything else that could really mess with this?
Lighting.
Yup. And aren't you laying down still?
Yes. I am.
So lighting, we'll say moonlight, that's a -6. You and him are laying down. That will make that a -7. And that's about all I got. Does anybody else got anything else to modify this with?
I don't see it, but would the fact that he's firing into the wind have any factor on that?
No. He's also taking no time to aim. So here we go. His massive pistol shooting skills. Okay.
Oh,
Not so hot.
So he fires his pistol with his king of spades. Bam, bam. Its rate of fire is 1, so it's just one shot. It's just pow, and it goes wild into the night. All right, with that, that king is said and done for. What about your king there, Father Cross?
all right. I am actually going to do another miracle. This one is called Armor of Righteousness. This one only lasts for 1 full round.
Mm-hmm.
But how it works is I make my faith check, and my total, not success and raises, my total on the roll actually will put negatives on their damage rolls when they actually hit.
So it becomes like light armor.
Right. So if I roll a 9 and they roll 14 on when rolling their wound damage, they're only doing 5 on their wounds.
I understand. Light armor. Got it. Let's get this done.
That's pretty cool. Just a flat damage reduction feels pretty rare in this game, at least for PCs. We're not critters or tanks or whatever. So yeah, that sounds pretty neat.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be getting hurt for the next round anytime soon.
God willing.
It will not stop put any negatives on their ability to hit me. But that is my king.
All right. Queens. Jacks.
I'm up with the Jack of Hearts.
I have the Jack of Diamonds.
Jack of Hearts goes first unless he wants to relent to the Jack of Diamonds.
I was already a gentleman once. I think that's going to do me this round. And we're kind of at different ends of the train now. Anyway, so I'm going to take a shot at the guy with the flaming arrow. Partially because he's easier to spot in the darkness. Mm-hmm. Partially because I'm worried it might be a dynamite arrow. Partially because I'm not a train conductor, but I bet fires are bad. So yeah, we're gonna start shooting at that guy. My rate of fire is still 3 for several more rounds.
Okay.
I'm gonna run out of ammo, I think, before I run out of that. So let's get going. I'm gonna combine it with that cold shot gizzards again. So we're just gonna be looking at the same net negative there. So 40, 12 minus 2.
All right. And in response, he's going to sack up one of his cards early to maneuver his horse to try to dodge out of the way of your incoming fire. So let me go ahead and pick out his next card.
That's a vamoose action, which I just think it's adorable that that's their official name for like the defensive thing. That said, I don't know what that does. So I'm sitting right now. I've got a 5 as my top. I'm not sure what his vamoose action does to that roll.
I will read that real quick since we're all still kind of putting it on together. Where was it at?
Looks like it starts page 131-ish.
All right, since I just learned how to count, give me a second to get to that number.
Still bad at geography, huh?
Yep. All right. Let's see. Make an active defense. We'll call it Vamusin. The price is your highest remaining action card, his 9. And otherwise, it's the only time action card lets you act before your turn. Now you can make a dodge, fight, or the appropriate dodge against an incoming. And so he's using his horse's ability to get out of the way by riding. Finally, the character actually has to do something to represent the vamoose. If he's to dodge, he needs to jump behind cover, throw himself to the ground, and so on and so forth. And let's see.
So he could just be leaning back behind his horse. Some of that kind of the cinematic horse fighting that you see Plains tribes do in movies and stuff. So yeah, it sounds like he makes a dodge roll and has to beat my if the roll is higher than the bad guy's attack total. So he needs to try and make a dodge roll and beat my 5.
Now, he does not have dodge, so he's going to just use his nimble, if I'm correct.
Right. So yeah, it's linked to nimbleness. And then what's the penalty for defaulting?
4.
So -2, 4. All right. So minus.
Here we go. He got a 5.
I think he needs a 6 because I think he has to beat it,
6.
right?
He does need a 6, and so I'm going to toss in a white chip. Why did I just do that? How did that happen? Suddenly I condensed myself on top of James's character. Get back over there, James. Uh-oh. I cannot access myself. I did something. What did I do? All right, there's me. All right, there we go. White chip. All right, there's a white chip. We're going to toss that out. And he's going to roll another dice. Oh, wait. No, that's not what he wants to do. It's a red chip he wants to toss out, right?
Did you add on top of his total? Yes, the red chip.
That's right. So we're going to take that white chip back. We're going to throw a red chip out. And he's going to roll another D10. So he can make that 5 a 6 at least.
Right.
He does. He makes it a 12.
Okay. Luckily, my rate of fire is 3, so I shoot him again.
He does not have another card to...
Well, that would be an 18 to hit.
It's not gonna...
So that's a hit.
Okay, well, there you go. That's a hit and how many raises?
Well, raises kind of don't help me right now because I called a shot. And otherwise, it looks like that's all raises do on this attack roll is letting you modify hit location. But I'm just kind of plugging him in the gizzards again. So that 5d8 came up pretty hot.
Yeah.
He's taking 31 damage.
Which translates into 5 wounds automatically to the gizzards.
Oh, whoops. And then I typoed on my roll. So that's 18 wind.
Which will just make him fall right off his horse. So he makes a deft dodge, lean back as you shoot the first one, and you can see he's maneuvering his horse as well as he hunkers down and draws back that bow even farther. But as he comes back up, puts it right in the crosshairs for your rifle.
Plug in pretty solid. I've got one shot left. I'm going to shoot at the other dog soldier that was riding alongside the passenger car.
All right.
I'm just going to keep the same thing, just kind of aiming for the torso. If I aim a little bit high, the odds are better that I'm not going to slip up and shoot a horse that hasn't done me no wrong. So he's just going to keep aiming a little high.
Okay.
Dice are sticking with me. That's a 20 to hit.
Yeah, that's a hit plus 3 raises.
That's 31 damage. Again, I cannot complain. So 5 wounds to the torso, 19 wind.
Knocks him off his horse as well. Or at least makes him slump down into the saddle and stop with his desire to point the Winchester at the passenger car.
Alrighty, so I trade 3 more shots for 2 more dog soldiers and a red chip. I'll take that, man.
Can you actually deal to yourself, or do I need to deal it to you?
Well, no, sorry. The end of red chip was just the fact that I got you to spend 1.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I was talking.
Yeah, I was
so I'm just like, hey, I'll take it.
Yep. So that's a benefit to us, especially if that red chip was the one I got him to draw.
Right. So yeah, I'm getting a pretty solid return on investment off these 44 rounds.
There you go.
So yeah. And that was me at Jack of Hearts, I do believe.
All right, so Jack goes to 10s. Does anybody have 10s?
I have the Jack of Diamonds.
Oh, you're correct. So on Jack of Diamonds, on 6 and 2, the conductor is pretty much is when he moves. So you have this opportunity to try to like rush up to him, and then if you get an action beforehand, you'll be able to pass him. If you would like.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'd like to get ahead of him. I'd like to be a surprise when he gets.
Okay. You are able to catch up with the conductor on this action card, and so we will move from Jacks to 10s.
No, the conductor. I thought you meant the dog soldier that was running it.
The dog soldier and the conductor are paced together at this point in time.
Okay, gotcha.
And so they're basically, I'm going to use their finger quotes, a mechanism of the combat round, representing a location for an event that's about to take place.
Gotcha.
And so now you've used a card to catch up with that event, so when it takes place, you're there as well. All right, so 10, 9. I would have had a 9. 8. All right, 8. In the back. Does anybody else have an 8? 8 of diamonds. Nope, just me. All right. Way in the back. Dog soldier is running along the length of the train. 3 cars back. He's going to use his action to kind of move halfway through and then take a pot shot at the priest. At that distance, oh man, it's what 1, 2, 3. That's 30. That'd be 6. So it's an 11. He needs an 11. He's already shot a whole bunch. I don't know if this is going to work for him. And he's got a 2. That's what it is. The darkness is a -6. That's the number 9. So he needs to get 11. Holy crud. Random shot. Hot iron flies from the back end of 3 cars back and gets the priest. Now, The priest is currently protected by God. I need the God sending you a message or something. The good news is there's only 2d6 damage from these cult navies. 7 points, priesty.
I have a 20, so the bullet pretty much impacts and then just falls to the roof and rolls off the side of the train.
Does your armor go down by 7, or does it remain at a 20?
It remains at that 20 result for the round.
Nice.
Yikes.
Yeah. All right. So that was the 8. Now we move. Anybody else got an 8? Because I'm moving on to 7s. 7 it is.
Me.
All right. I've got a 7 of clubs.
Hearts.
Ooh, you beat me.
Okay, this is either hilarious or I'm clicking someone else's because I've got a 7 of hearts.
Look at that. You guys both have the 7. Go ahead and drop them onto the... How do you have 2 7s?
Is everybody drawn from the player's deck?
The back of the cards would be different.
Okay.
And it would actually show up at the bottom of the screen. That is actually really cool. Let me do a real quick check of the actual decks to make sure they don't have 2 7s in there, because I can actually look at the whole thing. Gotta close that out. All right, there's 1 7. I'm actually looking at how the deck is stacked right now. There's the 7 of diamonds. Huh. I do believe this deck is not properly distributed.
All right, well,
Are there 54 cards in the deck, or did...
Yeah, there's 54 cards in the deck.
let's just roll with it for now, compare quicknesses for the tiebreaker, I guess, and we'll
Yeah.
try to talk to roll 20 or so.
Somebody's cheating here. I will
The good-
not. I will make this fix later. We're going to say that whoever has the highest quickness actually has the 7 of spades.
I have currently have 40-12.
I was going to say the doctor's going to be a gentleman anyways and let the lady with the axe go do her.
I don't think he has a choice in the matter.
All right.
I would say that too after she announced the 40-12.
All right. Anne, you're at the head of the expensive car. People are at the windows or they're hunkering down because of the sound of gunshots. And you are at the point where you've caught up with the conductor, and the sound of the dog soldier is straight above. What would you like to do?
If possible, I don't know if I can, but if possible, I'd like to duck ahead to where he's going to jump to the next car, but wait for him and grab his leg and just pull him down.
You can totally do that.
Because that sounds cool.
All right. Yeah, I don't see a reason why you can't. So you move to the next car, and when it comes to his action and he goes to jump across, you will... I'm assuming you pulled yourself up the ladder a little bit so you can reach up and grab him, or you're intending to, super leap up?
Yeah, I'm not going to super leap. I'm just going to, bide my time, wait, hunker down, reach up and snatch the leg and pull him off the top of the train.
Excellent.
I realize that I can't, demonstrate and also do push to talk at the same time. Real hard to do.
Okay, not a problem. So... You're prepped, and you have another... You don't have to have a card because you're preparing this card for that action. We're good.
Cool.
All right. Now it is Soy Mage. What is the doctor doing?
The good doctor is hearing the gunshots, and I'm going to spend this turn moving to try and catch up to where the sounds of the fighting are increasing. at the same time, I'm going to be moving a lot slower, trying to make sure, like, any of the women and children I may run into, it's like, keep your heads down, stay down. So I'm trying to keep them safe as possible from any arrows or shots that may come flying through the windows.
Okay. All right. You are going to make your way. There are a lot of shots going on. So let's talk about how the dynamics of this combat is going. There are Indians shooting at the train. You guys are shooting back at the Indians and engaging individuals. So there are still like a few in the distance that are firing rifles and whatnot. And at the same time, like Dr. Walter is at the window shooting every once in a while. Nothing as crazy as what like Oleander is pulling off with his machine gun style Winchester, or how the Father Cross has climbed to the top and is engaging. So there is still things happening, but you guys are for the most part engaging the lot of it. So the firing, as far as you can tell, is coming from Ollie himself. But you do know that the priest went up onto the roof. You do know that Ollie did take a few pot shots into the roof. Everybody in the car saw Ollie go boom into the ceiling, and the priest call out, "Thank you," you know. So, you move to the back end of the car at this point in time, and when you look up, you can see Father Cross. He is sitting on the roof of the car behind, and I don't know, does your armor have an appearance to it?
I never really thought about it. If anything, maybe like a golden hue that looks like a ghostly medieval armor around me.
Okay. All right. I'm going to assume, because it's maybe glistening or shines in the darkness, you can definitely tell that there is something like a halo or a haze surrounding Father Cross.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah.
Anything else?
No. Like I said, I know right now I'm going to be spending my next few turns trying to get to the front to help make sure nobody tries to hop up in there.
Okay, great. And now we move on from, that was 7, so we move to 6. 6s. And finally, 5s. Nope. All right, well, 5 is me. And this is Indian with the actual car. So, as Dr. Webb, you are stepping out. There is an Indian that is riding along the left-hand side of the train. Everybody has been paying attention to the right-hand side of the train. And so as you have come to this intersection looking out to see the priest, this dog soldier sees you and he begins spurring his horse to try to run faster. What would you like to do? Oh, wait. You don't have a card. You do have a card. No? Did we lose him?
I think he's frozen.
He is frozen. We'll catch up to him in a minute. And on this 5, this dog soldier will take a shot at the Pinkerton. Where's that at? Oh, there it is. You came back.
I swear this machine hates me.
That's fine. We just lost him. I'm glad that he had a chance to come back into the stream and yell. I think
looks like he's back again.
Why do I keep rolling 20s on my reliability die?
Did you hear any of that description?
Unfortunately, I did not.
Okay. As you got between the 2 cars on the car to 5, a dog soldier has come up to this point in time. He's trying to get at a point to shoot at the backside of Father Cross, but instead he has found you between the 2 cars. So he is going to take this opportunity to shoot at you. The lighting is poor, and you have benefit of cover. Where's cover at? Oh, cover acts as damage reduction. So, minus -2 for poor lighting, and he is riding his horse. So that's another -2, so it's a -4. He needs a 5 to hit you with his Colt Navy. He got a 5. All right. We're going to figure out where that hits at with a d20. 6. And 6 is in the lower guts. Not the gizzards, but definitely a stomach shot. All right. The weapon does 2d6. It gets reduced down to 2d4 because of being hitting the edge of the door frame. 7 points of damage, so that is a 1 wound to your guts. And a d6 of wind, which is 3 wind. So a grazing wound. So as you're stepping out, seeing everything, bam! Shot from the darkness off to your left-hand side, because while everybody's facing out the right-hand side, he got behind the train and has been making his effort to get farther up. All right, and that was on a 5. 4.
Ollie's up on a 4. I got the 4 of diamond.
Excellent.
So I feel like one side of the train is looking pretty clear as of like the last head count we got. Ollie's feeling like pretty secure on that flank, but he's now hearing gunshots from the other side, right? Yes. That's still basically adjacent to our car. So yeah, Ollie's just gonna kind of flip and turn and scramble over to that opposite window. Okay. And if I can take some shots at that guy, I will take some shots at that guy.
Full movements generally take up and consume a full card. So correct. No, it's not a full move to get to the other side. Especially if you move from where you're at and into the doorway and kind of push the Pinkerton out of the way. So like if you're pushing yourself into a position where you're able to get a clear shot, I don't see any loss of action.
I was picturing more staying in the car and just flipping to like the other set of windows.
And keeping covered.
Ollie has kind of decided I'm protecting this passenger car. So for as long as until I know it's clear, he's just kind of bumping from side to side looking out the windows. So I'm fine. He'll just holler, "Everybody okay? Keep your heads down. Everybody stay low," while transitioning to the other side of the car. I'm fine with that taking an action.
Okay. All right. And that was on 4. So any other 4s? 3. 3 is at the front. All right. This is the point in time in which the dog soldier makes his leap. So his deafness is what I will be... No, his nimbleness is what I will be rolling. You need to score your fighting to grab him and pull him down. That is a brawl roll. And so your brawl has to be greater than his, jump across that opening.
All right, so I'm looking. So my fighting is pretty much specific with axes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can use brawling.
Roll your fighting tomahawk and neg 4 to the roll.
Okay.
Is how that would work.
You also get to choose between either your fighting tomahawk or your... What is it?
Just base nimbleness?
Base nimbleness, whichever is better.
Yeah.
I get 5d12 plus 2 for my tomahawks, and I get 4d12 plus 2 for my nimbleness. So I would want the tomahawks.
Sounds like tomahawks win.
All right.
So
the dog soldier is going to close Skype chat because it keeps popping over the important window. There we go. And he's got a 6. This is a sad moment for him. You need a 7 or better.
So it's 5d12 plus 2 minus 4. So, a bunch of d12s with a minus 2. Think you got decent odds of ruining this guy's day.
Wow.
And then that is plus 2 minus 4. So 24, so 20.
Yeah. By 14.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of effect you want to make with 2 raises.
Yeah, what did you want to see with this?
I mean, I literally just want to catch his ankle and like just pull him with that momentum down, but like between the trains, so that he'll roll over roll under the tracks just like the other one.
Okay, not a problem. He's going to use his next following up card, which is a 2. He got a 3 and a 2 for this draw, and he's going to try to do a fighting to grab a hold of the edge of the train before he goes under. So I'm going to put that at a 7 for him to grab the edge, because it shouldn't be too hard for him to just reach out and grab a hold of it. I don't want to die. So that's what he's going to do. And
Please die.
his nimbleness is what we're going to default to, because he doesn't actually have brawling. I don't think that should be a brawling check. We're just going to say it's nimbleness. But he's still got to get a 7.
Yeah, it's like a climb type of thing.
Yeah,
so nimbleness, I'd say, would still be the one that sounds.
9. He grabs you whoosh. I mean, it's successful, but as he heads under the train, you stand there for a moment. The conductor runs up. He starts to go past you. About the time you see the dog soldier's hand grab a hold, and he starts pulling himself back up. So you're like, oh, he didn't
that's cute. That's not going to last long.
It's not going to last long.
I like that. Oh, that's cute.
Alrighty then. That was on 2s. Is there any other 2s?
I have a 2.
No, actually it was on 3, but he sacrificed his 2 to grab. So.
Yep. Okay. I'm assuming standing up from prone is going to take up my action.
Yeah.
All right. Would I be able to just regular draw as I stand up?
Sure.
All right. I am going to draw my force amplification mace, or what I call the holy whack-a-mole, as I'm standing up. And I just I look at the Indian and I motion him forward.
All right, so you want him to come at you. Okay. All right. Man, all these cards are piling up on here. It's doing pretty great. It is 6:30. We're going to take a short little break to do some respite and refreshing. We're going to come back and see if we can finish this off. This is the last dog soldier near the front. There's 3 dog soldiers near the back. I'm pretty sure once Pinkerton gets a chance to start shooting his rapid shot pistol, that one along the side of the train ain't going to make it. And the other 2 aren't going to stand up to the bapper of smiting. We will be back in probably about 5 minutes, but the timer's going to say 10, so don't get all excited till we actually do come back. And we will see you guys in a bit.
Let's go.
And we are back. We took a nice little short break, got some drink, food, and respite from the combat scene, and we are come back to this clutter of cards and chips to see what happens next in this nighttime raid on the train bound for Dodge. We just ended at the end of a round, and so we will be picking back up at the beginning of a round with initiative, which is a quickness check. If you are just now tuning in, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And let's just jump right back in.
All right, well, Ollie's jumping right back in head first with that 19 on initiative.
Nice.
Soy Mage, how did you do on initiative? 2? All right.
I rolled, yeah.
So you get a card. Oh boy, did somebody draw the Joker?
That would be me.
Oh man. As everybody can see, the Joker has been... I don't know if you can see this.
Which one?
Red.
Yeah, the red Joker.
Yep, they can definitely see that the red Joker has been drawn. That goes into your hand.
Was trying to put it in my hand, but I think I accidentally drew.
Yeah, they're both red Jokers. Look at that. We'll just get rid of one. There. All right, so the one on the screen, you're going to click on it, and then you're going to right-click on it, and the option at the top is Take Card. It should be there.
Yep, got it.
The red Joker allows something to happen, and I need to read that real quick. The red Joker allows your character to go at any time during the round. You can interrupt another character. You don't even have to roll. The downside is since you can't put a Joker up your sleeve, you get the advantage for this one round. That's it. And I don't get to draw a card or chips or anything. So you get to go whenever you want. I still start off at ace, so you can call it then or whenever.
There's another advantage for the red Joker.
Really? What?
He gets a random chip from the fate pot.
Ooh, let's do that then.
The Marshal does not get that benefit, though.
No, I do not. If I get the red Joker from my deck or the black Joker, all that happens is I get to go first or I have to reshuffle.
If the black, since we're on the subject of Jokers, if the black Joker is drawn, the person that drew it discards that Joker and any card up their sleeve at the time. The other downside to the black Joker is it gives the bad guys a draw from the fate pot.
Cool. Which we didn't get the black Joker, got the red one. So, starting off at the top, aces.
I have an ace.
Woot.
I will use mine during the ace as well. So I will use my red Joker.
All right.
But I will let the lady go.
What gentleman?
All right. Well, Ann McDade, there you are. This gentleman, this dog soldier is holding on to the edge of the train at this point in time.
I want to chop those fingers off with my tomahawk.
Okay. So you're going to make your tomahawk roll. He's right in front of you. You're making a called shot for his hand. So that's a -6 because that's what he's holding on to. Unless you want to reach over and try to chop into him, which means you're leaning down and trying to chop at him under the train.
Yeah, that would probably be even harder, right?
No, it's going to be easier, but you also put yourself in risk. He might grab a hold of you or something.
We're just going to go for his hands.
That's a -6. Good luck.
All right.
So it's normally 5d12 plus 2, right? Is what you've been sitting.
Yep.
So 5d12 minus 4. That's still a lot of exploding d12s rolling around. I still would rather be you than that guy.
Whoo, 11.
So it's an 11, so that's plus my plus 2, so that's 13, minus 6. So that's 7.
7. And you needed a 5. You hit.
Yay!
You got a 7. Now he's going to drop his highest card, which happens to be a 5, to use a fighting roll to try to swap to his other hand, trying to avoid being hit. All right, so he has to get a 8 on his fighting roll.
I don't like this guy.
He's going to also drop a white chip, so he gets an extra dice to roll, taking him from 4d10 to 5d10, and he's got to get an 8.
I'm upset.
He got a 9. You chop down with your tomahawk into the steel of the train. Sparks fly. The dog soldier swaps to his other hand, begins pulling himself up.
Oh, you just wait until my my 6 comes round.
All right. Soy Mage.
Real fast. Okay, well, the good doctor is actually torn. Do I want to shoot at the man on the horse, or do I want to... No, because I may run the risk of hitting her in the back if I try to shoot at the dog soldier hanging on for dear life.
Too far away, 3 cars difference. You can't see that.
Good point. So,
No one knows I'm being a freak.
point.
Except for the Indian that is having issues with his hands.
Yeah, he's having a bad day.
So then I am going to spend this turn aiming my Gatling pistol at the gentleman or at the dog soldier who just shot me, and I'm fixing to return.
All right, so you're taking this round to aim. That's on your ace. That's on the ace turn. So now we're on kings. Queens.
I'm up with the queen.
I am too with the queen of spades.
That's my queen of clubs, so you beat me.
All right. With at this point in time is at the back of the train, which is also the horse rider, which is also the one that you are currently aiming at. With gut wound, he takes a moment and continues to spur his horse, firing from the back of the horse. He's going to take a -2. You have cover and the light, so it's a -4 to his total. His pistol is a D8. Let me fix that. So he's 2d8 with a -4. He gets a 10.
Okay.
A hit and a raise. This is at the good Pinkerton, by the way. Not at Ollie. Ollie is now at cover on that corner of the train.
All right, so nothing I can really do to help out.
All right. A hit and a raise. So now he's going to roll location.
Does the doctor want to dodge? Like, he gets the chance to, right?
He has to sacrifice his highest card to get the heck out of the way.
Because I know you get to declare it before damage is rolled.
And I just rolled location. Damage is coming quickly.
And I will tank this shot, and I'm going to repay it in kind here.
So you're not going to... Okay. 14 is a hit in the arm. He gets a raise. He gets a raise to allow it to move to a 15, putting it in your upper guts. No extra damage, but it's a shot that can hurt in the long run. All right, let's see how this works out. Now, his damage goes from a 2d6 down to a 2d4 because he's shooting through the doorway. 7 points, which is another wound. So you got a wound in your gut, a wound in your chest, and you'll take a d6 in wind. A 1 point of wind, so another grazing wound. Oh, doctor. Doctor. And that was on Queen of Spades. Ollie.
Yeah, Queen of Clubs. I'm going to plug that guy. Yeah, we're going to keep it with that, the gizzard shot on the horseman there. So It worked out to a -2 total. That's a 9 to hit.
All right. He will definitely drop his highest card, which is the next highest card, which is a 4, in the attempts to pull his horse back and get a distance away as he sees that you're opening fire on him. Which is going to be a nimbleness roll for him.
Yep, so he needs a 10 or better.
And I have a chip, so I can throw a chip. Which makes him have 5d10, and he gets a 12.
Is that counting any penalties?
He has not had any wounds yet, and
okay.
I don't think he gets penalties for dodging while riding a horse.
Alrighty. I thought he was hurt, but that's fine.
Nope.
I shoot the second time.
Alrighty then.
That's an 11 to hit.
He has nothing else to lie back on, so that 11's going to go on through.
There we go. So it's a solid Winchester shot to the gizzards. So what was that? 5d8?
That's an extra die of damage right there.
Mm-hmm.
And re-rolling that 1 pays off pretty handily. So that is 21 points of damage.
That's 3 wounds to his gizzards.
So 9 points of wind.
Okay.
Does he fall off his horse, or do I shoot him again?
I will make him do a riding roll. We're going to set the target number at a 5. Oh, he got a 3. Yes, he falls off his horse.
Alrighty. I figure off their horse is out of the fight. Ollie's not doing security shots. He's not in that business. I've still got one shot left. I don't think there's anybody left outside the train, right?
Not on this
like
side.
riding on the sides?
Not on this side that you can see.
All right. I'm just not going to shoot 3 times this round then. So, yeah, Ollie's doing his job and keeping the sides clear. So, yeah, I'll save a bullet.
All right. Dr. Webb, as you got into the doorway and started taking fire from this dog boy, as you took a moment to try to focus in, that gunslinger, which I found out they actually had a different name. We'll talk about that at the end. The gunslinger leans out with his rifle and takes several shots, and that Indian backed off pretty quickly and then fell out of his saddle. So your attempts to brace yourself and aim in the doorway is now at the point where there's nothing to shoot here.
I thought he was aiming at... Sorry, I thought he was aiming at somebody else.
Mm-mm.
My bad. I thought you were shooting at one of the guys up top, and I was clearing the sides. My fault. But
nah, it's called assisting your comrade.
So what I'm going to say is, because you have the red joker, I will allow you to take your aim action back and do something else with it, because the red joker is significant for as far as the game mechanics go. Same with a legendary chip.
Then yeah, instead of the aim, I'm just gonna slump into the inside real fast, and I have 2 arrows. I'm assuming
they're not arrows.
Well, they're both present. Okay. Oh, that's right.
Bullets.
So, yeah. Okay, I thought for some reason he was using a bow. My bad.
Yep.
No. So I'm gonna slump down, brace myself against the door, and I'm gonna start working on trying to get myself at least not as injured as I was.
Okay. You lean back into the doorway and watch blood spreading across your shirt at this point in time underneath your jacket, and you're checking to see how bad the wounds are. All right. That'll take you out of this situation, and I only have 1 card left, and I see you guys have a smattering, so let's get rolling through this real quick to see what happens. We were just on Queens, and now we're on Jacks.
That's where my card up my sleeve is.
All right. You want to use it?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and do a quick impromptu medical roll. I know I shouldn't and should let the good doctor heal and should let the good miracle man heal me, but I don't know what all the man can do just yet, and this is way too.
All right. Make your medicine roll. For the wound level you're at, it is a 7.
With a -2 to the heal, because kind of doing this to myself.
You begin applying pressure and heading towards your medical kit. All right. Jack, and by the way, when you put that jack up your sleeve, you can use it at any time. You don't have to wait for the jack to come back around.
Oh, I know. I was using that one so I could actually. I was saving it for a rainy day. This is a rainy.
Excellent. 10s.
Ollie's up at 10. He's just gonna be like checking both sides of the car, hollering, "Everybody all right? I don't see any more of the buggers." And just kind of, I guess, cognition rolling to look for anybody, or not cognition. Yeah, sorry, cognition. Just looking for any more targets. Because the last guy that I shot up through the floor, you had just described, or through the ceiling, you had just described him as yelling and stomping and stuff. So for right now, Ollie, I think, is just going to be looking for targets. So I'm going to make just a cognition roll, and you can let me know if I spot anything.
Okay. All right, and that is on a 10.
So cognition total of a 3.
The skinnier of the two gentlemen who introduced themselves as Pinkertons pass you by with some looks like bad wounds, and so you're distracted as you're everybody okay. You see him pass by, and he's like holding blood, trying to like press it back in at this point in time. So you realize not everybody's okay.
Right, but he's the doctor that I would holler for if I was going to holler for a doctor. So that's still not exactly my problem. I can't help with that.
Fair enough.
Nobody's hollering about any more dog soldiers. I'm just looking.
We will have to wait till we get around to about a 6 before somebody actually gets a chance to respond to that. Right, James?
Yes, my highest card is 6 of clubs.
All right, so 9. So just slide that card up your sleeve there, Rusty.
I used it to make the roll and stuff. I'm fine with that having cost the 10.
8.
I am up at 8. The 8, I'm going to pick up my sleeve and just wait until I see a target. So he's just going to stay there with his Winchester shouldered, looking for a dog soldier that needs a shooting. So I'm up at 8. That one's going up my sleeve.
Excellent. 7. 6.
6 of diamonds.
Oh, boy. Let's do this.
I'd like to... Yeah, I wanna take another whack at this. I'm pretty mad.
All right.
So it's the same sort of thing with the called shot to hands from before?
Yes. Now it's just the other hand.
Yeah,
so I've got my 5d12, and it's going to be +2 -6.
And you can just type -4 at the end of it there, right after the keep one, the K1 part.
Oh, perfect.
You
Thank
can
you.
just put -4. It does it itself.
I think I'm actually going to spend a white chip.
Oh, boy.
Actually, yeah, let's go.
You can drop more than one white chip.
Yeah.
Because he's got a card, too.
I'm gonna stick with my my white chip for now.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be real pissed if this doesn't work.
Okay.
All right, 17.
Oh my god. He's gonna sacrifice his last action to try to grab the other side. Oh, oh my goodness. He's
Like, you're just standing there with a tomahawk in each hand playing whack-a-mole as this guy is desperately trying not to get stuck under a train.
This
Oh.
Maybe
poor
he shouldn't
man.
have shot up this train, huh?
This poor man.
Yeah,
He
I
is
mean,
never gonna play the piano or the flute the same way again, is he?
I mean,
I'm going to throw a chip in there because I have to try to save this guy. He's pivotal at this point.
trying
you and me are
desperately, trying desperately to hang on to the train while a berserker Herod is hacking at you with tomahawks feels like kind of an all or nothing affair.
It is.
Nobody's half-assing that.
I don't feel I should drop a blue chip or a red chip for this, but I'm definitely dropping another white chip, giving him extra dice to try to swap over. And this time, his main goal is to try to swing around the edge of the train away from where you're chopping. So if he fails miserably, he's done for. But if he passes, he's moved to a new position.
What's the minus?
Up 2. I'm giving him a -2 to like halfway reach around the edge of the train.
And what's his goal?
To beat a 17.
Bring
So
it, bitch.
he needs an 18. All right, here goes. 12.
Yep, he's going down.
He tries to swing and reach for chains and whatnot that dangle underneath, but your tomahawk sinks into that wrist to do some damage.
So does the train feel like a bump?
Well, no, the train weighs so much, there's no bump. It's a more squish.
Yay! Dead Indian.
All right. Father Cross, the 2 Indians that are up there with you are exiting. They're leaving. They're not sticking around at this point in time. They're getting off. They're getting back onto their ponies. The combat has come to an end at this point as Anne has tomahawked the one off the train. It's like a terrible whack-a-mole game. Rusty, you're right.
Right? Like, that's such a terrifying mental image as like that dude who is suddenly in a quick time event in a game that allows no saves. Right? Like, he's just, this is not how I thought today was gonna go when I went running all the way up this train. What the hell is even happening?
So I have to say it. I said it in chat, but I'm gonna sing it again. She had to hack somebody's hand. Oh, she had to hack somebody's hand.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, this has been a really fun session.
Ollie, for his part, as we kind of fall out of combat time, he's gonna line himself up at the window and line up that Winchester pretty expertly on those last 2 guys as they're like scrambling away and jumping onto horses and yada yada. But as long as they're not pointing guns at us, he's gonna let them go. But like, he's gonna be like covering them with his held cards like up his sleeve. But as long as they're just leaving, he's just gonna let them leave.
Well, they do shoot their pistols over their shoulders, like up into the air and stuff, in a show of like force and intimidation. But they're not actually. Their angling is terrible for actually getting a good shot off.
Right, it's the desultory whatever. We'll come back maybe, and we'll show you then. But yeah, like, as long as it's not, he's keeping an eye out. He's got pretty good vision. He knows a thing or two about guns. And as long as they're not shooting at folk, he's just going to kind of cover them as they ride away. And then let out like a big sigh at the end. Like, whew.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and collect all the cards now.
The mess on the table.
Yep, I'm going to do some cleaning. I'm just going to take stuff off the table as far as chip goes. You guys get to keep your chips. There we go. And I'll go ahead and I'll leave that as is and reshuffle for next game session. I won't worry about that. But we're going to segue back over. We're going to transition back to the other screen where all the wanted posters are at. There we go. That looks nice. Yeah. So the conductor at this point in time, he pushes past you and continues like stumbling into the next car, which is like a cargo container of sorts. And he as you're doing your thing and he takes off, he doesn't stick around to watch the rest of the event. So there you are. The dog soldier fell under the train. There was a bit of a scream. Aye! And then there's a squishy sound. What would you like to do at this point? I mean, you're definitely in the moment.
I'm looking around to see if there's any sign of anyone else, because I'm at the point where I'm not stopping if they're around. But as I realize that it's done, I'm gonna really focus on like my breathing and stepping back into the car, but like keeping the door open for fresh air to hit me as I calm down, and and I start to kind of like rebalance and think about what I've done.
As you take this moment to gain respite from the situation, you're paying attention to the surroundings, looking. Your hand focuses. You focus on your right hand, the tomahawk, the metal tomahawk with the feathers, and you hold on to it. You're clenching into it. You can feel no tugs, no pulls. It's not going anywhere. It's just there in your hand. It doesn't seem to be trying to pull you in any direction right now. Which, when there is, and I guess the best way to describe it is when there is an Indian around, it will give a tug. Almost like a guidance.
So it's almost like when the blade glows blue for The Hobbit.
I did want to make the Lord of the Rings reference, but yes, you're correct. But this is actually like tugging physically in a direction.
Awesome. Cool. Okay.
You step back into the car, and where do you want to go?
I'm still in the fancy car, right?
You're at the head of the fancy car.
I'm gonna kind of tuck the bloodied tomahawks, kind of into the folds of my skirt, out of sight, and get back to my stuff and change clothes quickly.
All right, getting into
messy.
the cabin with the fat banker is on the ground at this point in time. He hasn't gotten back up. The small accountant is cowering in his seat behind a briefcase. And they're kind of like looking around. As you enter, they jump, and the fat man fumbles with a derringer, but then drops it to the ground, yelling, "Don't take me! Take! I'll give you any kind of money you want." And then he realizes it's just you. It's you that have entered at this point, because your car is shared, and so the tomahawks are covered. You move over and grab your briefcase and take it out into the hall and head to the bathroom to get changed.
Yeah, I make comments about how terrifying that was, and what a relief it is that we're all safe.
All right. The banker is too terrified to make any other comments, and the accountant is also too terrified to move from behind this briefcase. You get changed, and I'm assuming you put your tomahawks back to their hiding spot.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I said, assume you get changed, you put your tomahawks back in their hiding spots?
Yeah, after I clean them off, they go back in their spot under my skirts.
Cool. All right, we're going to move back to the rest of the train. Father Cross, the dog boys, the dog soldiers are exiting the train at this point in time. There's a little bit of yelling, but it doesn't seem like forced yelling coming from the train below you. What would you like to do?
When I'm sure they're gone, then I'll go ahead and climb down the ladder, and since I know there's no passengers towards the rear of the car.
That's correct.
I will actually start making my way through the car towards the front, just looking over the people for any injured.
Okay.
And out of character, since I know our good doctor is injured, I think he was the only one that was actually injured along the way.
Oh no, there was
Besides
other
myself.
fighting going along, so there are NPCs that might have got a stray shot. You guys were dealing with part of it, and your actions resolved the combat in a whole, but you did not have, like, there were other Indians fighting, and they peeled away, and there were other passengers that were shooting out, like Dr. Walters or Whiskey. They were shooting out at the same time and engaged in it, and they were basically dealing with those things going on in the background. So as you move through, there is a tall, scrawny man who is laying in the seat. Doctor, I am still in the game. Hang on. GM Cat's complaining about something. I think she's.
It's adorable. It's like.
Yeah, she's
You're
trying to tell
doing
me.
it wrong.
Yeah, she's telling me I did it wrong. There was supposed to be more the dog boys. And she didn't want to use dog boys. She wanted to use kitty warriors. And it wasn't going to fly. It wasn't historically accurate. And, arguing with a cat is almost pointless. And more bounty chips. Yes.
Yes, you were talking about a tall, skinny man.
Yep, he's laying on a bench right now, and he has taken a gut wound. Dr. Walters is over him, applying some pressure and putting some bandages on it, trying to talk to a woman who looks like a school marm. Keep it here, and she seems to be unaffected by all the blood, while nearby a rather skinny woman has fainted, and her kids are just like standing there watching. So there's a lot of things going on. So yes, you found somebody with an injury.
How bad is he? Does it look pretty severe?
All you can see is a bunch of gauze and covering and whatnot pressing into the guy's stomach as Dr. Walters is getting up and heading to another car.
Do I see Dr. Walters' injury?
No, Dr. Walters does not look injured.
Yeah, we've got two Pinkerton doctors, remember.
So
I was thinking there was only one out of the two. One doctor out of the two of them.
No, they're both doctors.
Right. I move forward and I look down at the gentleman and I look at the school marm and I say, "How bad is he?"
She looks to you and goes, he took a bullet to the gut. All right, we're going to segue away from there and go to Ollie.
Ollie is just kind of hollering to like everybody at once. There's a doctor up that way if anybody needs him. And then kind of sheepishly, as he's still just kind of making his way through the passenger car, like, anybody happen to have any 44 rounds lying around? Or did any of them fellas maybe drop a Winchester before we kicked them off the train? I'm worried they might come back. And my yellow boy's a little hungry. But anyways, there's a doctor up that way if anybody needs one. But also, any 44 rounds. So like he's just kind of, like, he knows he's not going to help anybody with medical stuff. He's trying to be a good person and care about others, but he also knows that one of the ways he shows he cares is shooting trouble. So he's like, my Winchester is running real dry. If I'm going to help anybody and those fellas come back, I need to half-heartedly at least look for some ammo. So, he's just kind of checking on people, kind of pointing people towards the doctor, kind of hoping that maybe one of the dog soldiers dropped a box of 100 Winchester rounds before he went falling anywhere. That sort of thing.
Whiskey will get your attention as he has pulled himself up and he's trying to clear the jam in his buffalo rifle. And he will set a box of 45 rounds next to him. It's not a full box because you can hear it rattling from here. But he sets some down.
Was that 45s or 44s? Did you misspeak?
I misspoke.
Or did you mean for it to be the difference? I will give him a nod, and I'll just like pick up the box and be loading my rifle while I continue to like tell people which way to go to a doctor.
Oh, right.
So I figure if nothing else, I'm going to top this puppy back up at 16 for now.
And there are 22 rounds in the box right now, which normally holds 30.
So yeah, I'll take a dozen of his rounds and then give him a nod of thanks and give him back the box. But I'll just be plunking rounds into the Winchester, kind of have it tucked under the crook of my arm, and be plunking rounds into the magazine underneath, while just like trying to get anybody that's hurt to head towards the doctor. And that's what I was going to do for at least the next minute or two.
All right, Dr. Webb, you get back to where you're sitting, and as you plop down next to your box, your bag, you open it and begin rummaging through, looking for a pair of clamps or something and some numbing agents. Dr. Walter comes up and he pushes you back. Dr. Webb, you got hit.
That does seem to be the case.
We have a gentleman back there with a gut wound, but you are much more important. I can assist you, and then you need to come help me with this. This is a bad wound. I cannot pull the bullet by myself.
Very well.
I
Then let us.
He will assist putting gauze onto you, opening your shirt, putting gauze onto you and stuff like that. And as he's dressing and putting it in as quickly as possible, packing them, you see Anne McDade walking down the center of the business car, heading in your direction. She, in the dim light, she seems almost ghostly white. Well, she is kind of ghostly white, but that's not the point. You were in the back car when she took sprinting off to the front car. Do you want to cover yourself up as you're being worked on by Dr. Walters?
I am not, and it's not out of disrespect, but it's more out of I have, for lack of a better word, it's like social normities don't matter when gunshots apply.
Fair enough. Anne, do you want to engage the doctor while he's being worked on?
Yeah, as soon as I see him, I'll kind of rush over and, oh dear Lord, you got hit. Are you all right, Mr. Doctor?
So far it looks like I will live. So I have that going.
Do you need anything? A glass of water or some whiskey?
The man working on him gives a nod. If you could get some whiskey or something stronger, that will definitely help him. I need his nerves back together. There's a man in the back with a gut shot, a bullet in his guts.
On it. I'll get it right away. And I take off running to help.
You know that the banker had a nice little collection of alcohol sitting next to his chair.
I'll head up to the banker.
Do you ask politely for the alcohol or just take it?
I'll kind of both. Like I'm grabbing for it, but I'm like, the doctor's been shot and they need some alcohol to calm his nerves. He's got some work to do on some people that have been hurt. Is it all right if I take this? As I'm already holding it.
Make a persuasion roll.
All right.
Excellent. Yeah, he gives a nod. Yes, the doctor. Well, of course. Take anything. Here, this is a whiskey rye. It's really good. It's from Tennessee.
Thank you, sir. And I'm like shouting it over my shoulders. I'm already running back to the...
All right. Dr. Webb, your wound negatives are gone for the time being. They've been tended to, and you're in the positive. At 0, not positive modifiers. So let's go back to Father Cross. The school mom doesn't know how damn bad the wound is. What would you like to do?
Okay. In my years as a blessed, I'm pretty sure I've seen something this bad, especially with as much blood that is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at it and I put my hands over it and I say, Madam, since the doctors are coming back, why don't you go into the kitchen car and boil some water for them? They are going to need some uh, something to keep clean while they work. I will tend to this man until they return.
Of course, of course. She takes off and heads to the kitchen.
And when she starts to move away, I look around to see if anyone is actually paying attention
Yeah, 3 kids.
or looking at me.
Yep.
Okay. Is this guy looking, or does he look glazed over, sort of? Bit out of it?
Yeah, he's like a glazed donut, man. His head's to one side, his mouth is open, his eyes are kind of. Hey, he looks bad, man. There's a lot of blood too. It's
Okay.
already on the floor of the car.
I'm gonna use lay on hands.
Excellent.
And what is his wounds at?
Dead.
He is dead.
But you don't know that because you haven't made a medicine roll yet. So go ahead and make your lay on hands roll. Boom! If only a roll that large would bring back the dead.
Wow.
Well, hold on. Is he truly dead, or did he just, he's just leaning over that edge enough that he would be considered dead by normal means?
God does not discriminate between dead and 6 wounds.
The reason I was asking is lay on
amazing.
hands specifically says
a
I
really good
cannot
roll.
bring back the truly dead.
Yep.
So if he's at that point that, normal means would be he's dead, I may still be able to save him.
Well, you lay upon hands, you call upon the might of the Almighty himself. You bring about, a moment of rapture, or just not rapture, acknowledgement of yourself. Maybe even throw out some really good lines. And you're pretty sure the Almighty's watching. You've had some pretty close calls tonight, because your leg's still pretty messed up. But there is nothing. No glow, no amber effects, no sensation or flushing feeling. This gentleman doesn't stir. Nothing.
All right, then I am then just in case anyone around me is going to see me performing normal last rites, but I'm actually invoking the miracle last rites.
Okay. And what does that do?
It will prevent him from coming back and being similar to Anne.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Nobody knows what he's talking about.
I'm not
So
sure
mad.
that
We will not end up with a Harrowed.
What are you talking about? There's no such thing as a Harrowed. They don't exist.
Sounds like some BS.
I know, right?
Reading too much fiction.
that's a pretty rude thing to say about that nice lady.
Dime novels. Too many dime novels. Yes, he's on. I love it. He's on holiday. All right. Dr. Webb and Dr. Walter both come back over at this point in time. Dr. Webb, make your medicine roll. Target number is a 5. That gentleman on the bench is not breathing.
Well, it would seem then that we were either too late, right on time, or too soon. Which one, I'm not sure, but unfortunately that gentleman is no longer amongst
Dr. Walter looks to you and says, shall we attempt at least to restore him with the compressions? But then again, the hole in his guts, too much blood loss. It's a shame. everybody who is in the car at this point in time, you guys have come back with whiskey. You guys are pretty much all milling around the same car. The priest is making final rites. This gentleman has passed to the beyond the others, to the beyond the pale. And the words the priest speak kind of make you shiver, and it maybe it's because they ring so true, talking about how this gentleman has passed, or maybe there's something else, but it definitely it hits home almost. Listen to him pass the final rites for this gentleman on the bench.
Clearly, this is a true holy man, and as I kneel down and I pray with him, and cross myself and everything else, because I'm a good Christian woman.
Anybody else want to join in the final rites for this lost soul?
Ollie will remove his hat and like cross himself quickly, but like still holding his rifle with his other hand, and he's still keeping an eye out the windows, looking for any more trouble. But he'll just kind of reflexively snatches his hat off, and like it's hanging on the corner of just the nearest seat back, or so. Like he just kind of takes it off real quick. But he's going to be keeping an eye out for more trouble. So he kind of goes through the motions of, not being disrespectful about it. But he also knows that God mostly didn't put him here for praying. God put him here for keeping an eye out for folks who's praying. So he's going to be keeping an eye out for trouble.
The good doctor will remove his hat. And we'll do that. And then we'll just take it off for a moment, put it back on, and then just keep walking up and down the train, trying to find any more injured. Because his thought process is, well, that's one. That's not my job. My job is to make sure he don't have to meet them this quick.
Okay. There are a total of 3 individuals that have been injured. The guy you just dealt with, yourself, and then, of course, a businessman in the next car up. One of the... Sorry, not the businessman in the car up. It was the cowboy who was playing poker. The Pony Express rider. He took a grazing wound. He was shooting back as well. He's fine. A quick bandage. It's literally this farmer traveling with his family that didn't make it. So as we're coming to a wrapping of the end of this point in time, the conductor... Oh, it's the puppy. As we're coming to an end at this point in time, the conductor will let you guys know that the engineer has upped the speed. We're going to get away from this place, and then we're going to slow back down. Everything's going to be fine. He comes to the father and says, because the wife has already been consoled. By the way, the skinny woman to one side with the 3 kids, that was her husband. And so now she's traveling alone. And so she's all sad, and the conductor wishes you to help him take this individual to the back of the train. So you're probably going to need some help physically to move this individual. Who will you select?
I know I, for one, am... Well, okay, sorry. Bad reverberation. No. I, for one, am injured, plus am not the strongest individual. So I will ask our dear Ollie for assistance. Ollie the oxen.
Ollie is very much not an oxen, but he'll just go, yeah, I carried a few bodies in my day. And he will assist.
All right.
He is thoroughly pretty average in physique. His strength and vigors are not great, but yeah.
The conductor will get some keys and then head up to the car with the dining setup and grab an extra tablecloth and bring it back to put over the body. And so Dr. Webb, Father Cross, Ollie, and the conductor, unfortunately, he won't ask Anne for help because I'm going to allow a lady to come back and see this man to lay.
I prefer helping to console the missus anyway.
she is definitely beside herself. You can tell that she's not the healthiest of women around, and she's got 3 kids. The kids are sobbing too, so right now that passenger car it's a sad moment. The 3 of you walk to the back. As you are heading to the back, the conductor at some point says, "We just need to go to this car." He makes an effort to describe the car by name, and then he says something that catches all of your attention. "We can put him with the rest of them." As you head back to the car, he gets to a black car, unlocks the door, and as you walk in, there are coffins. There is a crate big enough for another coffin and whatnot, and Father Cross, all of these coffins have somebody in them. There.
Ollie just looks kind of wide-eyed and nervous, but he doesn't like say anything. So he's just kind of like.
Do you often travel with the dead, or are you taking these poor souls home?
Well, we never said anything to anybody about it, but yeah, we're taking these poor souls home. A few of them are Union soldiers who signed up, and they didn't make it out. That one over there is a lawman, and those 2 over there are some widows going home to be with their family.
All right. Since I know the good doctor is a Pinkerton, I just kind of look at him a moment, and I look around, and I go,
You're now in a car with 10 dead people.
Yeah. I think it best that, considering the recent events, you definitely not tell them what is in this car.
That's why no one knew about it until now, and it's not required by the company to tell anyone what's on board.
Y'all don't got a train car full of nitroglycerin or anything, do you?
Well, I mean, if it's on the manifest, we would, but I'm not allowed to talk about what's on the manifest.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you do got a whole nother train car just like this, only full of nitroglycerin, then maybe I just as soon hop off before Dodge.
No. You don't have to get off there. And if we did, it would be stored safely because there are standards that will easily protect any container.
Like being shot at.
All right. Well, I'd just as soon leave this car to the doctors and the padre and such anyhow.
Don't worry, Ollie. It's not like they're going to get up and walk around on their own. And I laugh, there is nothing to be scared of.
Oh, me and corpses go way back, but don't mean I want to hang about them.
Okay, the train hits a bump. The bump shakes the train. The man's arm rolls out from under the cloth. Everybody make a gut check. It's only a 5.
Sweet. This is why I took strong summon.
Once again, I started to type my die roll into Twitch.
You're showing the audience how to type it and roll 20.
All right.
I'm good.
Although it might have caused lesser people to jump out of their skin, the dead man's arm falling out from under the sheet does not have an effect on you all. The 4 of you. The conductor. Go ahead.
I just kind of look at it and I go, "Oh, son, you must keep your hands to yourself. What would the ladies think?" And I raise the sheet enough to put his arm back up over his stomach and lay the sheet back down.
It's like, are we putting them on like is there some sort of table or bench or something, or are we just kind of laying them off, laying them on the floor in the corner, or
putting him on a pile of? There's a series of crates, long crates that he's being laid up on, and there's to one side, so he can't really roll to one side, and then the conductor is going to put a piece of wood into the floorboards so that it presses him, so in case if he does roll the other way, he might not fall off.
All right. Well, after we lay him atop the crates, Ollie is going to look like he is looting the body. Like he's checking the guy's pockets for a watch. He's pulling off his wedding band, stuff like that. In broad view, like he's not doing it secretively. But I'm going to give people a chance to respond if they want to be like aggro about it.
Yeah, if no the players won't respond, then the conductor will.
And Ollie's just bringing his stuff to his lady.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Dr. Webb was going to make a very loud, very obvious cough to get it.
Yeah.
I
Ollie's-
stop him when he goes for the wedding ring. Everything else is fine.
You don't think you want to
Because
keep that?
We will leave that up to her, and then we'll come back for it. But I have buried many married men while they were still wearing their wedding bands.
Whatever you reckon's best, Padre. And like Ollie will just hand whatever he finds to the priest to give to the grieving family. But he figured he might mind going through a dead man's pockets less than any of the others in the tree.
All right, you found about $5.25 and a couple of pieces of paper and something that looks like a deed to land. So he's definitely keeping the important stuff with him. He has both dollars and Union bills. Sorry, not Union bills. Confederate bills. So he had money from both sides. So maybe he was a smart guy. You take the materials back up. Go ahead.
In the middle of handing all of that to the preacher, Ollie's also going to like fish in his own pocket, and he pulls up a handful of coins and gives about half of his money into Father Cross's gathered hands. So the guy gets another 50 cents. Ollie is down to 54 cents in remaining.
Awesome. That's great. You go back into the other car. You meet up with the widow now. Explain to her what's going on and what happened. You hand her all the things. There's a lot of talking. People are calming down. It's late. The conductor's walking around checking on everybody. The Pony Express rider who took an injury is fine. Dr. Webb is, of course, the worst injured individual here at this point in time. No, Father Cross is the worst injured individual. He has got a pretty swollen-looking leg at this point in time.
I healed that.
Oh, that's right. You did. You made a miracle roll, didn't you?
Yes.
And so we come to an end at this point in time as the train speeds on into the night, heading toward the Gulch, about to cross a bridge and be into Coyote Confederate territory. You survived an attack on the train by a bunch of dog soldiers, and now all you have to do is get through one more territory, and then it's all back up into Dodge. It'll be great. Only 2 more days on this train. No, only a day and a half in this train, right?
Yes.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, let's do some bounty. Giving up half your funds to...
Speaking of, on my way to
yes.
the widow and the children, I am stopping by my bags, and I am putting an extra $10 in there, in the folded deed where all the money is, and then I will give it to her.
Okay, so the two of you will receive an extra bounty point for your generosity.
Neat.
And you will receive an extra bounty point for your sympathy and care for the people. And Dr. Weber, you'll receive an extra bounty point. Pretty much everybody's getting an extra bounty point for being nice people after the whole thing went down. So I like that. You get a bounty point for playing, so we're up to 2 now for everybody. We got a chance to see all your really cool abilities. Blessed abilities, the gunslinger abilities, the hexslinger abilities, the harrowed During that board game. Oh man, that game. Whew. I really enjoyed
poor
it.
man.
I really enjoyed it.
That was fun.
So we're looking 2 bounty each.
2 bounty each, and Anne, I'm going to allow Anne to draw. I'm going to allow Sarah to draw a chip for chasing down the lead dog soldier and getting rid of him, and pretty much ending the encounter. Remember, you cannot have more than 10 chips. Next game session we have, you'll get 3 more to start off with. So if you've got chips that you want to go ahead and get rid of, you can. Here's the thing about doing that.
I have 3.
So next session you'll get 3
Right.
more.
So just set them out on the table.
No. Keep the ones you have. Don't drop those.
Yeah, keep the ones you have unless you're turning them in for bounty. I have 3 myself. I am turning in 1 of the red for 2 bounty, and then my white for 1 bounty for an extra 3.
When he does that, I do not get to draw a chip because he's turning it in for bounty.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do, was turn in 3 of my chips for bounty.
Go for it.
Yep, I'm turning in my blue and both of my red.
Blue is
3. So he's getting 7 bounty just off those 3 chips.
excellent. Yeah, put all your chips on the disable that you're going to be getting rid of, then I can pick them up.
While we're dealing with chips, I seem to remember that if you are role-playing a hindrance, you can sometimes get a chip for that. I'm going to try and self-lobby here to get something for Law of the West for not shooting at the opponents that they were kind of the whole not shooting anybody in the back, not shooting them as they were surrendering. He was very dedicated to just defending the people on that cattle car, for lack of a better term. I don't know if that might be worth something, but
even with all the Indians you were shooting at, you only shot at the ones that shot first.
Right. When they were just running around, he didn't shoot. It was always somebody that attacked and that had weapons leveled at the passenger car. So I figured that's worth us at least looking into. If you need to look it up before next session, that's fine, because I don't remember exactly how it works. I just remember that hindrances are supposed to sometimes feed into the economy a little bit. So I thought I'd put forth an argument there.
Yeah, that's part of that is good role playing. You can earn extra bounty for it.
No, I'll look into it. And we'll go to that, and I'll give you a confirmation before next game session, and we'll discuss it on the Twitch so that people know. Let's see. Any other questions?
Red chips are worth how much bounty?
2 apiece.
All right, I'll turn 2 in.
Cool.
I'm going to make my decision about turning chips in after we figure that out, but I'm going to be turning some in.
Okay. All right. I'll go ahead and recall all the ones that have landed on the table.
And I do have a note of the ones that I have
Max.
on this.
What was that, James?
Yours is, marshals are only temporary because you draw them and then you put them back in the fate pot at each combat session.
All right. I had fun. This was a massive fight. The whole game session was literally about this fight, which can be a downer. But this is an older model role-playing system, and so combat is incredibly clunky. I appreciate you guys and how quickly we were able to move through this. We dealt with any questions of the rules really well, and we're learning. And the descriptions you guys were pulling out was really awesome. I'm excited to what comes next. I hope you guys are excited too.
Definitely.
Heck yeah, had a good time.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
All
the
right.
other thing is, every fight after this one's going to go a little more smoothly. It's a clunky 90s era system, but we're learning as we go. We're sharing it with chat as we go, and they're always going to get a little bit, quicker every time. So
Exactly. So this is the part of the end of the show where we kind of do our pitches. You guys hang out, and we're going to say some stuff, and then you can, this is our way of advertising ourselves, because we do more than just this one show. And mine's going to be pretty short and sweet. I'm going to link our website, original box set, here if I can find it. There it is. Great. And original box set is where we normally hang out. This is, of course, our Twitch channel. Come and hang out and check us out. We have a calendar. It has most of our stuff put up there. God, I hope I got to double check my calendar, make sure everything's good. We also have a Discord. So if you guys like to hang out on Discord and chat, we can do that as well. And here is that. Copy and paste. This is a link to our Discord. Come join us. We generally talk about a bunch of stuff, and we hang out. We're doing Star Wars on the other end. If you heard Cassie in the background shouting Star Wars. So definitely do that. The last thing, if you're interested in soap, come join our Discord. Check out my wife's soap. It is pretty awesome. This is her Etsy page. Yeah. Because I love her soap, and I love her. So, this is it? I think this is it. That is not it. Man, I'm terrible at this.
I have some of her soap sitting right here, actually.
Excellent.
What flavor or scent is it?
It's Neutral Evil. And I keep it next to my computer because it smells so good. It makes me super happy.
I think Soy Mage has Chaotic Evil sitting on his computer.
I actually have been meaning to order Lawful Neutral.
Lawful Neutral? We'll definitely want to put that in. I don't know what Wibbly.com is.
Can I pimp my couple of links
Go
real quick?
Go for it. Do it. I'm going to look for another link I need.
Yeah, it sounded like you were researching. The first link that I tossed in there is another Twitch channel. It's a Shadowcasters Network. Every other Sunday, so alternating with this show, I run a Sea of Spears. Erica, there in chat, is playing one of the young heroes of House Nymerian. So their family is in all sorts of trouble, getting in all sorts of misadventures. The plot has been a thickening. The queerness has been expanding. The flirtation has been growing. Hearts have been broken. Banter has been happening. It's been a good old time. So check us out on the other Sundays. Basically, just hang out with me on Sunday afternoons and we'll roll imaginary dice. The other link that I tossed is for Doomtown Reloaded. Doomtown is the Deadlands spin-off card game. And Pinebox Entertainment, who run Doomtown Reloaded, have lent us some of the kick-ass artwork that y'all are seeing on our coming soon screen and our break screen and all that stuff. We're talking to them. We might be able to get some promo cards in coming episodes. They just did a really cool, they're like big national championship. They just did that in Tombstone. Like they did an event tournament where everybody hung out in Tombstone. They got to mess around with like movie props from the movie Tombstone as all these Tombstone themed cards are coming out. So people are playing their Wyatt Earp card sitting in Tombstone, Arizona. Like they're just super cool company. They do all sorts of neat stuff. And they gave us the hookup with some cool card art and with some promo cards, hopefully in coming weeks. So if you're digging this Deadlands vibe, and if you like that artwork, go check out some of their starter decks and stuff. And it's a fun game. I did my regional tournament with them a few weeks ago, and yeah, they're neat. They're good people. Check them out.
All right. Sarah.
Yeah, so I'm the owner of Rem Attorneys Productions. I'm dropping some links in for our Facebook there. We are in pre-production for the Chicago Shadows trailer. We shoot in February. I'm in training for cardio right now because my scene is going to be running toward and away from the camera. And they're going to say, cut, do it again, and God, that's going to be hell. So I'm going to the gym like 7 days a week now. It sucks. So you can follow our story and our adventure. It's been super cool to piece this together. I've got a lot of the Shadowrun writers and people that are involved with that universe helping me out with it, which is really great. We're also starting to expand our services provided. So I'm now doing dialect coaching. I do about 8 or 9 different accents. So I'm starting to teach those more regularly for actors, podcasters, whomever. And we're also doing social media and social media management for people gearing up for Kickstarters and stuff like that. So,
Cool.
yeah, check us out. And if we can do anything for you, let us know. Or just follow along. And it's been really fun adventure trying to figure all this stuff out. So it's been great.
All right. Soy Mage, do you have anything?
Yeah, obviously I'm Soy Mage. I'm the newest person here to this channel, I do believe. But no, I do also. Unfortunately, we're in a hiatus, but I am also on Roll Call RP. No, let me make sure I've got it right. Dang it, brain. Sorry, Roll Call RP. We do where I play in an Innistrad set D&D game. Other than that, like I said, we're currently on hiatus as we're trying to get stuff fixed and deal with life and holidays to get back to it. Other than that, I am still working on and slowly going insane on attempting to write and do a Newark by Night Vampire the Masquerade game, possibly on this channel sometime here in the future, should everything work out. So,
cross my fingers, we'll get some artwork set up. Find some players, do a casting call. It would be great.
Nice.
James, do you got anything? Tell us what rules we got wrong. Look at his grumpy face.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Everything seemed to run smoother than before, but I think half of us had pages marked and ready to go for the things we were expecting. So, I'm still working on a couple of things so that we've got each of us will have everything that we need in one place.
Cool.
And
Greatly
if
appreciate
any of the players or any of our audience ever wants copies of that, for those that go onto our Discord, when I put it up, there will be links to some of the files I share, so they can actually get copies of that for their own games if they ever do Deadlands with their groups.
Cool. Definitely. All right. I think at this point in time, we've said everything that can be said, and we're pretty much done for the night. We kind of went over for a little bit. Not a big deal. I had fun. I really did.
I dropped in the link for episode 1 too, if you've missed it.
Ooh. Go check it out. Like it. Share. All right. I'm Max, Game Master for this. Sorry. Let me do that again. I'm Max, the Marshal for this game. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us, and you guys all have a wonderful night out there in Twitchland. Good night, everybody.
bye.
Bye.
And where's the stop button?